It is 6 o'clock exactly at the MJ Morning Show. Hey, everybody, it is MJ. And Fester over there, Roxanne over there, Froggy over there. Can I start off by bestowing upon a member of this staff an award of merit? Right off the bat, here on a Monday morning, what is this, April 22nd? Yeah, 22nd of April already. Look at this. Got a little award. Now, I don't have the plaque or the trophy or, you know what? I do have a prize, actually.
Great.
Hold on. Why are you being mockingly sarcastic?
Okay, if you're going to bestow an award of merit,
Yes.
you should have at least gone through the award-getting process.
Well, I have a gift card. I think that's good to start with. You know,
All right.
Maybe I won't go traditional, get a plaque or a trophy or something. I would like to recognize a member of the morning show for some responsibility, I'm excited about at least the trend. We're heading in the right direction. Froggy.
Sir?
I would like to recognize you.
Oh,
Good.
You've had a good streak of no back pain, neck pain, IBS, migraines. What
I've
other?
been on a good roll.
You've been. What other afflictions am I missing on the list of your medical ailments?
You got the sciatica in there, the pinched nerve.
don't you have a herniated disc?
Herniated disc has been there for years. I just leave it.
All right.
It's bulging.
Yep.
Micro. Flat feet.
Micro what?
Pain.
Well, it's very, very
Fitting.
good that you bring that up because actually it's going to be a double bonus round of prizes for you. Because first of all, I would like to give you a gift that a listener sent some time ago, and it's like a little pamphlet book, and it did come via Amazon Prime. So it did come, and I'm holding up on MJ TV right here. I'm holding up the Amazon Prime gift or the mailer rather, and here's the gift I'd like to bestow on you. Now, someone sent this a while ago, and I've just been sitting on it for the right opportunity. And the fact that you, in your list of ailments, you added that your micro, whatever you're calling it, I would like to share with you a little pamphlet and actually give this to you. And I'll hold this up to the camera. It's a little booklet. It says, "It's not the size that matters. Embracing life with a micro penis."
Yeah.
Look at this. So a listener actually sent this in. So
Me and
Froggy,
Fester could have wrote that book.
yeah, I'd like to. I'm holding this up to MJ TV right now, and I don't think there was a gift. Oh, hang on a second. Look, maybe there is a gift card in here. This is some time ago, and I was just that person's probably saying, "Hey, those sons of they never mentioned my my little gag gift that I had sent in from Amazon."
Why are you saying gag gift? It
Well-
sounds like it's very helpful.
Hang on, let me see if there's a little note here
No
from.
gagging.
Here we go. Hope Froggy's able to get some comfort from this book from Joe G, Cleveland, Tennessee. This is another one of our long distance listeners. You know, it's amazing. At that little survey that I did over the last week or so, the number of listeners locally is just off the charts, but also people from around the country that listen to us every day. It's really amazing when I ask the question, what if the programming geniuses in management wanted to start music at 9 a.m., making our show only 6 to 9 a.m., and then all music from 9 to 10, shaving our show to 3 hours versus the fourth hour, 9 to 10 a.m. And I can't believe how many, I have, I think 1,000 emails. It's just out of control. And if you missed it, I asked listeners a couple of times last week to weigh in. And I said, listen, I don't ask you to do much. Just listen to the show and enjoy it. But if you could, send an email to me, mj@mjmorningshow.com. I'm not saying anything is imminent, but listen, I've been around this business for a while, all right? I know what direction the headwinds are coming from. All right, so my question was, I want you to weigh in. Do you want us to continue the show all 4 hours until almost 10 o'clock every day? Or what if, out of my control, they decided to start playing all music from 9 to 10 in the morning? So email me, mj@mjmorningshow.com. Email me, mj@mjmorningshow.com. Give me your age, your gender, and where you live. Age, gender, and where you live, and what are your thoughts on us continuing the show until 10 o'clock, so the 9 to 10 hour intact with our content? Or what if they decided to play music? I don't own the station. It doesn't say, MJ or Todd Schnitt on the door here. So, but look, and nothing is imminent. I'm just saying I want to hear from you on what your thoughts are. Anyway, so this is from Joe G., Cleveland, Tennessee. And Froggy, first of all, this is like the bonus. But then
Froggy, look up.
Froggy, here you go. Take your
take your I just
book.
want to say I don't really have a micro penis. Is this a joke?
I think it's pretty.
Oh my God!
obvious.
Look, there's actual art. Look. Look at the art.
But wait a second. Hang on. There is.
Art in the book.
There is.
Wow.
That
guy's got a little one.
This is available on Amazon, folks. And then, Froggy, I would like to give you the actual gift of your, pretty good role of being at the show and not calling in sick with some medical ailment. An hour and a half, 2 hours before showtime.
Well, don't jinx it.
I'll call in this week. Don't worry.
Well, then I'm going to take your gift back if you do. But but so far you've been on a pretty good roll. So I'm pretty excited and happy at this point. I would like to give you a $25 gift card to Colony Grill.
Wow.
For my very much enjoyed Connecticut, Stamford, Connecticut bar pie.
An attendance reward.
Yeah, that's what it is. So Colony Grill in St. Pete, also at Midtown in Tampa. I've got a $25 gift card for you from Colony Grill. So you can take your family.
What's happening?
Is he just shaking down his wallet and seeing what you have in there?
No,
I don't want your. I don't want it.
Yeah,
I don't want your gift.
It's a fine place.
There you go. Oh, it's great. I mean, it's that thin, ultra crispy. It's that Connecticut bar pie.
I don't understand what's happening.
Listen, I'm a pizza fanatic.
Yeah,
Froggy, it dawned on me that you're on a good roll as far as attendance goes. Don't look anything else into it.
Very weird.
That's it.
Maybe I'll call in tomorrow.
That's weird. All right, here you go.
Has it dawned on you that...
So $25, go to Colony Grill, bring the family, enjoy the great pizza. Yes.
All right.
Thanks.
Yep.
Has it dawned on you that Andrews has like a 1,000-day roll?
Oh,
yeah. What does Andrew have to do to get it?
Maybe Andrew should take this.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
I've got a couple more of those. Maybe I'll maybe I'll recognize Andrew. And then we have a very disappointed listener this morning.
Uh-oh.
Well, actually, this was yesterday, but Crystal Mitchell, 17 hours ago, sent me an image of the boat is still uncollected on 4th Street. When you get off at 275 South on the 4th Street exit, which was newly reopened and constructed, last week, Fester drove me in on Friday morning, and we noticed that there was a boat. Somebody boat dumped. There's just a carcass, a hull of a boat, and someone just dumped it right on the side of the road. We gave it away on Friday morning. What's the sandwich shop in South Tampa?
Wes was his name, and it was Barrow's Sandwich Shop
on Henderson,
kind of near Dale Mabry.
Yeah, Wes was going to pick it up.
Yeah, near Bonefish and near Olivia, right in that area over there. And Wes did not pick up the boat that he won, and Crystal Mitchell is recognizing that the boat is still there. And I noticed also on the way in this morning, at least at 5:15, 5:20, the boat is still there. So if anyone's looking for a boat, just go grab it. It's right off of the 4th Street exit in St. Pete, right on the side, near the mangroves. Someone just dumped the boat instead of paying to actually have it disposed of properly. All right, just getting rolling at 6:09. It's going to be a very busy Monday and a very busy week. We're back in minutes.
Well, of course, for a Monday morning, I-4 would be the first one.
MJ Morning Show, Q105. It is Monday morning, 6:21, rolling up on 6:22. Great to have the early crowd, dedicated listeners with us. We highly appreciate it. Hey, I got an angry email. I'm sorry. Correction. I'm so used to saying email. I got an angry snail mail. I got an actual angry, pissed off listener that was unhappy with something on the show. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I fully agree with their assessment of what happened. So I'll get to that later on. It came snail mail.
I really appreciate getting snail mail.
Yeah, it's the old snail mail deal. Not an angry email, but I'm so used to saying angry email. I got angry snail mail, actual angry real mail, and I'll address it a little later on. In fact, it's addressed to my real name. It's not addressed to MJ. It's addressed to Todd A. Schnitt, and of course, my middle name is Andrew. But in this case, the letter writer changed it to Todd A-hole Schnitt. So
that's just setting a tone right there.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm telling you. So I will share that a little later on.
That's just an attention getter.
Here, you think so? Here on the MJ Morning Show. I was also going through our pile of early morons in the news. That's going to be solid. Yeah, morons in the news, next segment. I run into so many people that love the morons in the news. Ran into someone last week. It's like, hey, man, I'm in the car in the 6 o'clock hour, and I love the morons in the news. So a good pile of morons coming up in just a bit. I saw an item over the weekend which caught my attention. As the father of a college athlete recruit, Chloe was recruited, by numerous schools, wanted Chloe to play. One of them was West Point. We went to West Point a couple of times to visit. The West Point women's soccer coach really wanted Chloe, and Chloe had to decide whether going to West Point and then 5 years of Army service afterward, whether it was right for her. And ultimately, do I really appreciate and respect folks that serve this country? Absolutely. Would Michelle and I have liked for Chloe to go to West Point? Yeah, I think as parents, I think we would have been very, very proud. But for her personally, it might not have been the life or the lifestyle that she would have, enjoyed. However, knowing that she kind of had her eyes on law school, that was one of the things that we pointed out. Hey, you get a West Point degree. Then if you want to go the legal route, the Army will even put you through law school, I think in many cases. But ultimately, she took the scholarship and she took the recruit gig to University of New Hampshire. She had, I think, about 8 or 10 schools that were after her, mostly D1s, but there were some D2s and D3s.
Yes.
But what am I boring you?
No,
Fester?
I just am recalling my days as a high school athlete.
Oh, competitive eating?
And
is there
the recruitment opportunities that I was afforded.
right?
You may have heard of the North Iowa Area Community College, NIAC.
North area what?
North Iowa
North Iowa
Area Community College.
NIAC.
NIAC.
Oh, I was thinking of Nyack, New York, up near Nanuet in Rockland County.
But you got a big offer for
Also, Westmar College, which no longer has a football team, but did
you
back
played all through high school?
Speaking of military schools, I don't want you to think Chloe's the only one who has been recruited by a military operation. I had a visit from, not to, but from the Merchant Marine Academy.
Nice.
All right.
Yes.
There you
So
go.
For football?
I understand. Yeah, they were Merchant Marine Academy. If you can walk, they'll take you.
You have any old pictures of you and your old football stuff?
I think somewhere I have one of me in a wrestling singlet too.
We got to get that and post it up on Instagram.
D-line?
Look at you.
D-line?
I was
Mr. Athlete.
I was an offensive lineman.
Okay.
Very
Yeah,
offensive.
Very
offensive.
offensive. Anyway, so let me get back to what prompted this little discussion about collegiate sports. I saw a piece, and it's really kind of eye-opening, about how college coaches, even at the highest levels, one of the coaches was the men's basketball coach at UConn. And do you know that they not only look at the player, obviously, but if the parents are a problem, they'll pass on a player.
I bet.
That they look at the parents' behavior and the parents' attitude as well. I just thought this was kind of fascinating. For instance, Well, one of the coaches, and there were numerous coaches that were interviewed. This is a USA Today piece, and the headline is, "Do I get floor seats?" College coaches pass on athletes because of parents' behavior.
If they're trying to live through their kids or be too entitled themselves or be too meddling.
They call them momagers and dadagers.
Yeah.
You know what that is, Fester?
I could figure it out.
I've heard of the momager.
I didn't need a dadager with my Valdosta State University letter, but
A momager is obviously like the mom manager.
Right. That
and
sounds better than the
dad
dad.
is a dad manager.
it's just an extension of the helicopter parents who are over their kids their whole life.
Before UConn coach Dan Hurley reached the top of men's college basketball for a second consecutive year, he had poignant advice about what it takes to get there. Yes, he has to have measurable talent, he said, but he also has to take a hard look at you, the parents. Parents, he says, can be destructive to his team if he lets them infiltrate its culture.
Yeah.
Poking and prodding and coddling in the selfish interest of their sons. Are they going to be fans while they're on campus, or are they going to be parents? Are they going to hold them accountable, have an expectation that when something goes wrong, that it's not the coach's fault, that their son's got to work harder, he's got to do more, he's got to earn his role? I just thought this was kind of cool that these coaches, if you sense a problematic patient or a parent that, well, I was thinking of, I was thinking of, a parent that could be a cancer. That's why I came up with, a cancer patient. But seriously here.
It's like that one guy, the Ball dad, LeVar Ball.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. With all the sons
The three sons.
Yeah.
And he was so outrageous. Like, what team would want to deal with that guy?
And his sons were star
Yeah,
players.
they
They were
were-
all really, really talented. But he was so much. It's like, oh, pass.
I'll give you another example. Josh Hamilton's parents. His mom used to try to coach him during minor league games, and they had to tell her, like, this, it doesn't work like this. And they would take an RV and follow him around to all of his minor
Ew,
league games.
Leave
And
me
that's-
alone.
Yeah.
They should have bought the RV from Fester at General RV in Sefner.
I'll give you another example. Frank Cortez's parents.
Who?
He played guard on the Dixie Hollins football team next to me. His mother spoke broken English, and she was like, Frankie, block the player. Frankie, coach, I put in Frankie. Oh, coach is stupid. Such a stupid coach. Coach is stupid, coach. And then she'd see the coach and be like, hello, coach, you should put in Frankie more.
How we act at games, how we gripe and complain to coaches, how we influence our kids' behavior to do the same or not can have a direct and long-term effect on their athletic experience. Hurley sounded the alert that colleges are willing to pass on what he calls neon talent to get a more team-centric player. Yeah, and there's some other coaches who were also Howard University men's basketball coach Kenny Blakeney, for instance.
I'll take your word for it.
There were numerous coaches that are interviewed here. One of the headline was this, but one of the parents apparently was like, "Hey, do we get floor seats if my son comes to play for you?"
I don't know if that's a disqualifying question, but
Well, I think he sensed maybe other like a helicopterish or just in your face, way too involved. Could interfere. Be certainly problematic for the coach. But I just thought it was interesting that, hey, parents, if your kid's a good athlete and colleges are coming after them, be very cognizant of your parental behavior, because guess what? You could be the deal breaker on why your kid doesn't get the ride, doesn't get the scholarship, doesn't get the nod to join a Division 1, 2, or 3 team. So I just thought that was very, very interesting.
that's what the coach said about my parents from Dodge City Community College who recruited me.
You got a lot of offers, huh?
How would you like to come to Kansas, young man?
Are you making all this crap up?
Those are real schools. Yeah.
No, but are you making up?
I think every guy who plays high school football gets a couple of like junior college recruitment. There's a lot of small schools in the Midwest that have to fill rosters.
6:32 at the MJ Morning Show here on Q105. Early Morons in the News is next. I got a great pile today. Good stuff. Nice diversity. Morons in minutes here on the MJ Morning Show. Kemp. Morons in the news. All right, 6:40 at the MJ Morning Show, and of course, never a shortage of morons. Don't worry, they'll make more. What was the old? What was the old like snack chip commercial? Like, eat all you want, we'll make more, right?
Yeah, that was Doritos. Jay Leno used to be the pitchman for Doritos.
Yeah. Leave it to Fester to know the snack food that I'm referring to.
I know.
Yeah.
And he'd say, yeah, eat all you want, we'll make more.
Catch my face on fire.
So it was Doritos, right?
It was.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll make more morons. All right, this is crazy. Right out of Hillsborough County here, guy from Brandon has been arrested after he called the Florida Highway Patrol Dispatch. What is that, like Star FHP or something?
Yes.
On your cell phone, if you have any kind of a problem, Star FHP.
I had to call it when I ran out of gas recently.
Clogging up the lines for your irresponsibility.
It was an
Yeah,
emergency.
look at
It's
that.
an
No,
emergency.
Roxanne's 100% right.
It's an
yeah.
emergency.
Your irresponsibility clogged up
Listen.
the FHP.
Great.
It could have been a real emergency that you prevented
was.
from getting through.
It was a real. Listen, I shoot myself in the leg. It's a real emergency. I call 911. Oh, clogging up the system because you shot yourself in the leg.
Well, I think
Real
running out of
emergencies-
gas. You knew that you were low on gas. That was when you ran out of gas on I-4 westbound.
Interstate 4 coming back into Tampa.
And
yeah.
you were trying to make it to the Thenota Sassa exit to get some gas?
Just trying to make it to the Travel America because I like their bathrooms.
That's the TA, right?
Yeah, and they have a Popeyes
Whenever I
attached.
see the TA logo, I think of something else.
Yeah.
I think of a little TNA. That's what
I'd go there a lot more often if that were the case. No, honey, I'm going to pass up the Chevron. I'm going to wait for the TNA. Yeah, all right, thanks. I'll fill it up alone.
All right, so this Brandon guy calls the Florida Highway Patrol and threatens to shoot a Florida Highway Patrol trooper because they were going too fast when they passed his vehicle on the road. What
Did he
the-
just figure out the rules of the road? Like they can do what they want to.
What the heck?
They can't do what they want
that's not
to.
true.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
yeah,
I mean-
true. Yeah, Roxanne,
Let's go crazy. Woohoo!
and guess what? There are plenty of police chiefs and plenty of sheriffs that make sure that their officers or deputies that they set a good example on the road and not drive like maniacs.
Not hit the lights just to get through the red light.
Yeah, one of the worst. Oh, speaking of that, one of the worst places is Manhattan, and New York City as a whole. There is such abuse up there. I can't believe. I mean, it's also the home of PBA cards, where
Professional Bowling Association?
You donate money to the PBA, the Police Benevolent Association, and a lot of times you get a card, and it's kind of like you get out of a ticket card.
It's awesome.
Because it's sort of it's kind of corrupt to a certain extent. I've had numerous PBA cards over the years, especially when I was up in New York, a little PBA badge, et cetera. But I mean, really, when it comes down to it, it's not fair. You're driving like a maniac, or you get pulled over for speeding, doing 85 and a 55 or a 60, and you whip out your PBA card, and it's like, hey, please show this person all courtesies, and a lot of times it's a get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
It's
It's for relatives, I thought.
Well, yeah, you're right. It's for relatives, friends. It's all of the above.
Radio guys.
No, I would say. I mean, there's no.
That's how you got
so-called-
yours, right?
There's no.
He made a cash donation.
No, up in New York,
Yeah.
it was, up in New York, we had a bunch of cops, New York City cops, that were listeners
Yeah.
when I did mornings up there, and they would stop by and give me a PBA card.
Here you go, buddy.
Hey,
No
listen,
worries, no.
We're big fans of Morons in the News.
Oh.
Hey, Todd, I want you to know we think Len's great. Here's a card.
Everything Len's great.
All right, listen. Hey, so, back to this guy in Tampa.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen cops not drive as fast as they have in the past. I feel like there's a conscious effort to not
Oh.
drive like bat out of hells.
I know that law enforcement locally, that the leadership, they're pretty cognizant of telling their officers and deputies, set an example on the road. Use your turn signal. Don't speed unless you're going to, an emergency, obviously. So I mean, listen to this, James Keister.
Come on.
It's Keister. How else do you pronounce that? James Keister
That's Keister.
Jr.,
Come from a long line of Keister.
43 years old, called in over the weekend. It happened Saturday at 11:30 a.m., saying that he would shoot the trooper if he saw him again, and then gave his name, phone number, and asked to speak with a supervisor, according to the FHP. And the trooper was speeding past this individual because he was doing, traffic
Speed enforcement.
control and
Yeah.
speed enforcement. And the trooper saw a motorcycle going way too fast that flew by him on the Howard Franklin, on the bridge, on the Pinellas side. So the trooper, that's why he was driving fast. I guess he was going after the motorcycle. And this Keister guy was contacted and was told that making a threat against law enforcement that you're going to shoot them is a criminal offense. And then Keister said, I don't care, and I'll go to jail for it.
So he's psychic, too.
Jeez.
They tracked down Keister after asking his company where his location was. And apparently he was in his work vehicle, and whoever he worked for had GPS monitoring. They found him at the Williams Park boat ramp on the Hillsborough side, and they arrested him. Deputies said that Keister is a convicted felon and a documented gang member.
Whoa.
That's a tough name to be in a gang with.
Yeah.
Where's Keister?
I thought I saw somewhere that he might have been a Latin Kings member or something.
Really?
Keister.
Well, then I take
Yeah.
it back, Mr. Keister.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his mugshot right now. His goatee is like the most perfectly detailed shaved goatee. You guys got to take a look.
It's very nice
kempt.
face manicuring.
Yes.
Yes.
Keisters are
Yes.
known for their manicured facial hair.
They really pucker up that goatee.
What
really
about their
tight.
Keister hair?
Keister hair is a mess.
Keister hair is an absolute mess. But they booked him. They booked him on a felony charge of possession of a concealed handcuff key as well. So remember, that's a big no-no here in Florida after a very horrific incident some years ago with a handcuff key.
Isn't it smart to keep a handcuff key at all times?
What?
It's actually
It's
illegal.
illegal, dude.
Really?
Dude, are you listening to the show?
No, I thought, well,
That was the Hank Earl Carr matter where 2 detectives were killed by Hank Earl Carr.
oh gosh.
Yeah, they handcuffed him and put him in the back seat, and he had a key on him.
Yeah, and he was able to undo his handcuffs
So this guy knew that he was going to get her to do something.
and grab one of the guns.
Holy guacamole.
Yeah, that was Hank Earl Carr back in, what was that, the
25
late
years ago?
late
30 years?
90s?
Yeah.
Somewhere in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. It's a terrible story. So this guy who called and threatened a Florida Highway Patrol officer who he thought was driving too fast was then tracked down, had a concealed handcuff key. That's a felony. Also, he was hit with felony unlawful use of a two-way communications device and 2 counts of felony misdemeanor threatening death to a trooper. Now, that's what you call morons in the news right there.
Well, I'm not going to say anything bad about Mr. Keister. I'm afraid of the Latin Kings.
Yeah, you don't mess with the yellows. That's what they color, right? Their
Well,
color is yellow.
I would just recommend that you don't break the law and you don't call the FHP threatening to shoot a trooper because he passed you too fast on the Howard Franklin Bridge. 6:50 at the MJ Morning Show. I have additional morons that we can potentially sprinkle throughout the show, so stand by. 7 o'clock hour hits in just a bit. Man, I've got a creepy Airbnb story coming up. Oh, also, did you see the guy that lit himself on fire outside of the Trump trial up in New York on Friday? Oh, my God. Just insane. But there's something bothering me about the media coverage about this, so I want to get into that next. And then, Fester, are you doing Wordle already this morning? Because I've got a whole Wordle story that it might not be good for your mental health.
I have done Wordle already today.
Hold on, but
And I've guessed the word in 3 tries.
I'm telling you right now that Wordle might not be good for your mental health. I'll explain it all coming up, folks. Don't move. MJ Morning Show here on Q105. What a welcome. this morning. Let me try to get things back on track. Let me try to fix this little several-minute derailment here on the MJ Morning Show. All right, Fester, you are sitting there playing Wordle every single morning. I mean, you're becoming very distracted by this Wordle thing.
That's not true. Wordle only takes a minute or
No,
two.
it is. I've looked over at you, and I'm trying to get a reaction out of you, and you're on your phone, and you're playing Wordle instead of concentrating on the show. Yeah, it's happened numerous times in the past couple of weeks.
Well, I also play Brick Breaker.
It's the oldest game there is.
I know, but I like it.
I
I like
play
it.
Tetris.
You're a brick breaker.
Yeah.
What? you trying to do Pat Benatar?
Yeah.
You're a Brick Breaker.
Parody songs now. I like that.
What
And
was,
falsetto.
hold on. What was in the old Seinfeld? What was the Steinbrenner character that was voiced by Larry David, by the way? The George Stein, the
Yeah.
Steinbrenner voice was actually Larry David on Seinfeld. But there was one episode where he was doing that. You're a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Dream. But what was the hey, Festa, go?
I don't know. I gotta look it up now.
Is our computer not working this
No,
morning?
it rebooted during the commercial. I need Andrew to relog in.
Oh, great.
Andrew, just come in and put your
Yeah,
password
but
in.
what was that from Seinfeld? What were the lyrics on that?
We'll look him up.
But the Steinbrenner character on Seinfeld had that Pat Benatar stuck in his head. Anyway, so Fester, Wordle.
Yes.
Wordle is making people mad. Wordle is affecting the mental health of many people, according to listen to this.
I don't see it. I love Wordle.
Wordle, the stimulating cognitive game, is apparently screwing with people's mental health. Listen, if a game on your phone is messing with your mental health,
You gotta delete it.
you probably need to walk away from it, all right? Listen to this from the Post. My therapist just told me, this is a quote, my therapist just told me that the New York Times Word Games app is becoming a problem for many of her patients, including me. This is according to Tess Owen, some kind of journalist, wrote on X, formerly Instagram, or formerly Twitter, last week, admitting, quote, she lied to her therapist about how long she spent playing the game offered by the Times.
Yep.
So
Free game.
It's like an inordinate. Well, the New York Times bought it. Remember, didn't Wordle start? Didn't some dude just invent Wordle and became this viral smash? And then the New York Times bought Wordle from some dude
For millions of dollars.
for millions. I thought when I heard the amount, I thought it was kind of low. Actually, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the exact amount. I just remember that a couple of years back, Michelle said to me, "Hey, the New York Times just bought Wordle from the guy that invented it." And then I said, "How much?" And I just remember thinking, you know what? With so many tens and tens of millions of people playing this thing, I thought the number was a little low.
He should have gotten more.
That's what I was saying. I thought the number was low. So apparently therapists are running into patients that are like consumed, and it's making them angry.
What part of it?
Well, the fact that they're trying to get the word, or they're I guess.
Does
Fester,
it ruin their day if they lose?
Yeah.
I have never played Wordle. I've never. Now Michelle plays Squirtle, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing
Is that it?
Sounds like a party.
Well, the one that Michelle in Wordle, you have to guess the word, right? Festival, I've never played Wordle. Can you explain it to me quickly?
So Wordle is a 5-letter word where you guess it and then it tells you guess a word. I have the same.
Every one is 5 letters?
Every guess is a 5-letter word.
Okay.
So it's not crazy difficult.
You can't have a 4-letter word? You can't have a 6-letter word?
Nope, it's a 5-letter word. Look, here's today's word, right?
And you've already gotten it?
I've already gotten it in 3 guesses.
Don't give it up.
Right. But my first word is always the same word.
What is it, laser?
Oh, so you pick the word, you use the same word, and then it tells you how many letters in your word are in that Wordle day's word.
A lot of guys use the word ado because it uses a lot of vowels. I use the word radio because it has 3 vowels and 2 common consonants.
Yeah, A-I-O.
So, and then it tells you what you get, and then the greens means it's in the right spot, and then the yellow means it's in the word, just not in the right location.
Gotcha.
So then, with the information you now have, you try to figure out what the word could be.
And you come up with laser.
Now, Michelle plays. Hold on. Was that today's word?
Was it?
I just dumped that.
He's given it out twice already.
Dude, really?
Yeah.
Where's the big deal?
Don't give out to. Dude, you're an idiot because people are going to
You're
be.
an idiot. It's a dumb game. I'll give it out again.
People are going to be angry. No, I dumped you already.
I feel like it's Monday and people are like, you know what? Thank you. I needed to know the word. Now I don't have to stress about it and get through my day.
I
It's
want
kinda like
sharks with.
I can't believe
It's a
you
little
just
gimme.
gave out the word. I mean, I don't want. Folks, I'm sorry that Froggy just gave out today's Wordle.
What is it? The word is the same for everybody? I thought that was Fester's word.
It's one game that the world plays. It resets at midnight.
What?
So you only
That's dumb.
So, like I said, it took me a minute to get that word.
So Froggy just ruined it for
The
numerous
world.
people.
I didn't know it did it for everybody. Well, that's weird.
Oh, you thought it was just Fester's
Yeah.
word?
Yeah.
Oh, so they have a different one for millions and millions of people? No,
And that way you can compare with friends. You know, oh, I got today's word. Oh, today's word was a tough one. We all have the same word.
How dorky.
Right? And I love it. And I am on a wicked Wordle streak.
Man, you're on a rip. You're on a tear.
And what do you get for it?
Bragging rights amongst nerds.
Oh, okay.
Listen to this. The therapist, Jennifer Gittleman, a psychologist in New York, says that the Wordle puzzle, which the Times bought from a software engineer, Josh Wordle, his name is Wordle. New York Times bought it in 2022, has overtaken some of her patients' lives, getting in the way of regularly scheduled programming. That's their little joke.
Yeah.
And now back to our regularly scheduled programming. She says, when I see it as a problem is when a patient says, I was not able to complete my tasks at work today because I spent so much time on Wordle. That's a problem. Yeah, Michelle plays, I don't even know if I'm saying this right. Michelle plays Squirtle.
I got to look that up.
That's where you have to find all of the available words, and it'll say, and Michelle plays some complicated ones, like 500 words, and the letters are really, really small little chiclets. Or maybe there's 40 words, or there are different puzzles you can play, and you have to find all of the words that are in that block. You know, it's kind of like a word search thing. And Michelle does that. She'll spend plenty of time, especially at night, you know, going to bed at night. You know, I'll fall asleep while she's still playing the Squirtle or whatever the hell they call it. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right.
See, I can't do that. I got to play Wordle in the morning because if I do it at night, I might forget, and then I lose my streak of 147 consecutive days.
Really?
97% kill rate.
I just
Boom.
made an observation about the three of us.
Tell me.
Okay, you, Fester, do a really good job of taking care of your brain. I'm not worried about you getting dementia. Look at what you're doing. I take good care of my body. I exercise.
I guess.
Froggy,
Notice you didn't say that Festa takes good care of his body.
No. And Froggy, you take good care of your soul, like taking days off and
What?
meditation.
Oh, geez,
Meditation.
where's this going?
Yeah.
Between the three of us, we're the perfect
Hold
person.
on. And what about me?
All of it. You're just.
What
you're-
about me?
I didn't get to you or Andrew. You guys are just nailing all areas.
What about me? I want my share. Remember that song?
By the way, I feel like I might be sick tomorrow.
Remember that song, Moving Pictures? What about me?
That was more of
Yeah,
a screaming
that
song.
was.
That's like the only. What about me? I want my share. I want to. I don't know any of the lyrics anymore on that thing. All right, so folks, warning. Wordle could be really bad for your mental health. Hey, it could be bad for your career, meaning that you're focused more on Wordle and you're not doing your job.
But you won't get dementia.
Maybe.
You don't know that.
I'm hoping.
There's nothing to suggest. I mean, listen, trying to keep your mind sharp obviously helps, but if you're physically predisposed with a dementia or an Alzheimer's gene, or I don't know if Wordle is going to prevent you from getting dementia. I don't think there's any scientific research on that just yet.
Nope.
7:14 at the MJ Morning Show. I have a creepy Oh my God, you got to hear this. I have the creepiest Airbnb story that you've ever heard. That's a guarantee. This is an absolute bona fide guarantee. Creepy, creepy, creepy. Also, you know what? I didn't get to the guy that set himself on fire outside the Trump trial on Friday. A couple of things that I want to bring up, and there's something that bothers me, and I think it's a disparagement on the state of Florida, and I'll explain coming up. Don't move. Back in minutes. We start an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ next here on the MJ Morning Show. If you're Live at the MJ Morning Show. Yeah, I'm kind of back on time here. That's great. All right, 7:25 MJ Morning Show, and right now we start an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ. 1 hour, 20 minutes, no music, no commercials. It's just nonstop award-winning MJ Morning Show content right here, right now. All right, a couple of things. First off the bat, I wanted to get into this in the last segment. I did not. Let me just take a moment here. And again, the state of Florida, I think, is getting disparaged. You had this very, very unfortunate situation where a man lit himself on fire outside of the Trump trial up in New York on Friday. And I went back because I set my DVR. I record a lot of the news during the day just in case something breaks, just like this. And I was able to go back and watch about 1:38 p.m. or so on Friday. CNN was like all the other networks. You got MSNBC, you got Fox News Channel. They're all outside. You got CBS, ABC, NBC. They're all just a big press circus outside. And they've got anchors and reporters. They're like set up. They've set up like little mini studios out there, and they're doing the whole shows. And right behind, these crews, this guy lights himself on fire. And you have, Coates? She's like a legal analyst on CNN, but she's also like an anchor now. And she is just rattling off this play-by-play of this man, Max Azzarello, a 37-year-old guy who dumped a flammable liquid over himself and then lit himself on fire. I mean, and unfortunately, the guy has passed away. I don't know how he could have survived that. And we found out later in the day that he did actually pass away. But what's troubling me here is that so many news operations are like trying to peg him as a Florida man. And all right, he's been in Florida for a little over a year or so, 2 years maybe. He was living in the St. Augustine area, but this guy's a native New Yorker. And I felt that as I saw media coverage of the event, everyone tried to peg this as, nutty, crazy Florida man, when in fact, he's originally from Long Island. He's from the North Shore of Long Island, from the village of Seacliff. And that's where he grew up. That's where he's from. And he only migrated to Florida a couple of years ago. And I think it was to follow his parents who left New York and retired to Florida. But, again, there's this rush to try to, label, it's, the crazy state of Florida. Oh, a Florida man. Well, I thought that, the media try to make it seem like a Florida individual, when in fact this guy's a New Yorker his whole life.
Yeah, former New Yorker goes back to the city to light himself on fire.
Yeah. And listen, he knew what he was doing. He had a whole manifesto. He had these pamphlets and leaflets that were all multicolored that he threw up in the air before he torched himself. Let me tell you right now, I'm going to move on, but I feel terrible in the sense that clearly this was a very troubled, mentally ill individual. I don't know how you don't feel sorry for the man. Clearly he had psychological issues, and that's just absolutely terrible. I just wish that he could have gotten the help that he needed and not self-immolated on national television, essentially. But the I don't even want to play the audio, but the anchor on CNN who was right out in front of the courthouse area doing the live shot with another CNN reporter on Friday, it was like she was just doing play-by-play, and you could tell she's a lawyer. She's not like a broadcast-trained, anchor. And she was just going, and it was like, lady, take a breath.
All right.
And it was just her play-by-play of what was going on. It was just crazy. And again, I wish this guy could have gotten some help. I feel awful. If anyone that has a mental illness and they maybe can't help their actions and they're just not thinking straight, you just kind of hope they get the help they needed before it comes to something like this.
Serious question.
Yeah.
Does manifestos have the same effect that they once did?
Do manifestos.
I mean, do they?
Are you correcting Festo
What did I
now?
say?
Yeah, he said does manifestos. Does they? I don't know.
Does they? All right.
YouTube does something now.
So what are you saying? You think
I
that
don't know what I'm saying.
manifestos have jumped the shark? Is that what you're
He
saying?
doesn't. He had a manifesto. Ooh, who is he? The Unabomber? I mean, the Unabomber kind of took all the wind out of the sail of the manifesto.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of thought that maybe the Communist Manifesto did that decades and decades and nearly a century ago.
Yeah.
I think that the Communist Manifesto kind of took the wind out of manifestos, okay?
Meh.
Yeah, I'm going a little earlier than you.
Does
and,
it?
And listen, if there's anything positive that can come out of the awful situation, both of his kidneys were already transplanted into patients. So, at least you've got 2 lives that will survive.
Well, that's
What
good.
a hell of a
Because-
story that is. Yeah, this new kidney.
Well, can you imagine?
It came from the Trump burn guy.
Seriously, can you imagine? Yeah, my kidney in here came from the guy that lit himself on fire outside of the Trump trial.
Wow.
Think
That's a
about
mind
that.
something.
That's what I said to Michelle. I said the same thing. I said, can you imagine the story? Anyway, I feel awful for the individual. It's a shame that he could not get the help for depression and whatever was affecting him. I have an Airbnb story that is creepy beyond belief. Creepatola. Get to that here in a second. First, I'm not aware of this guy, but it's making national news. Ex-Dallas Cowboys star Mike Jenkins. Am I supposed to know who he is, Mike Jenkins?
Oh, Mike Jenkins. Yes.
Good old MJ.
Mike.
Andrew says, our producer, that he
Jenkins.
played briefly for the Bucks. I think
Yes, that Mike Jenkins. How is he?
I think he's the grandson of Publix founder
George?
George Jenkins.
Yes.
Must be.
Yeah.
George had,
Jenkins.
Yeah.
George had a son named Herb, and
Right.
Herb had Mike, and this
Right.
is Mike.
Yeah, ex-Dallas Cowboy star Mike Jenkins, I believe, out of the Jenkins Publix family, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. So the Jenkins from Publix are white. This guy happens to be black. Maybe he was adopted.
Listen, you don't know.
Maybe it's like Larry David and
and the blacks.
No.
Larry David and Curb Your Enthusiasm when he took in the family from the hurricane.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right. The family's name was the Blacks.
Oh, it was the blacks?
Yes.
I don't remember that was the name.
Yeah, that was their name.
Oh, that was their name.
You don't think Fez is just throwing that out there?
Hey, listen, I'm not
And-
hypothesizing like you and the Jenkins family.
And of course, JB Smoove, one of the funniest guys on the planet, and nice as hell. Because did I ever talk about the
Yes.
fact?
Yes. You have.
I did.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
it's-
I'm currently watching all episodes in order of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, from the beginning?
I'm up to season 7, episode 7.
right.
And it's right in the family from the hurricane has just left the house,
Right.
and now it's just him.
Now it's just
him and
JB,
Leon.
just Leon JB Smoove.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on a flight from Tampa back to New York. This is back, I don't know, 2021. I don't know what it
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, and JB Smoove he had just done a Tampa show that weekend, and I think it was Sunday morning. I think he did a Saturday night show at wherever, and he was sitting right in front of me, and he was a nice guy. He took a picture with me, and on the Delta flight, just a really, really nice guy. So that was my experience. Anyway, back to Mike Jenkins, ex-Dallas Cowboys star, was involved in an incident at a bar here in town in St. Petersburg. We've got audio. Now, Andrew, were you able to bleep anything that needs to be bleeped? Because I think he was talking about getting his mother bleeping card back. This is what TMZ has reported, and I didn't see this locally reported. I didn't see any local TV station or no one else had the story. Former Dallas Cowboys star Mike Jenkins was involved in a heated confrontation at a Florida bar. Video obtained by TMZ Sports shows the incident happened at the Kenwood on Sunday night in St. Petersburg. Now, I don't think it was last night Sunday. I think it was at the previous, I think it was like a week ago.
I mean, it's taken a
Sunday.
week for
Yeah.
a no-name football player's altercation to get out.
The incident happened. Where's the Kenwood in St. Pete? I don't know where that
Never
is.
been.
So
Professor, can you look up the Kenwood?
Mike Jenkins, former star at USF.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's from, he has ties
And,
to the area.
that's
and
right.
Southeast High School in Bradenton.
Okay, is that where he went to?
So-
But he did go to USF.
He went to USF.
And then Andrew, our producer, said he played for the Bucks for a hot sec.
Yep, he did.
For
2014-ish.
So when did he work at Publix?
No, this.
Oh.
Froggy.
You weren't serious about that?
he was.
No,
He was.
No,
Oh, okay.
he's not. He's not part of the Jenkins family.
Oh, but you said that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was joking.
Oh, I didn't.
You said it so
I
seriously.
was joking.
I was gonna say.
But where's the Kenwood? I've never heard of the bar, the Kenwood. Apparently, Jenkins was upset because one of the employees at the bar didn't give him his credit card back. The worker misplaced or lost Jenkins's credit card, and that ticked him off.
I'm Mike Jenkins, damn it.
He was a 2008 NFL Draft first-round pick.
And he said that in the fight. Don't you remember the 2008 draft?
According to witnesses, after making a scene inside the bar, Jenkins, a USF alum, then went outside, screamed at a security guard at the door.
Michael.
In footage from the scene, you can hear the ex-defensive back drop curse words left and right while insisting he did nothing wrong. Then at one point, you can hear him yell, "Give me my mother bleeping card."
Or his buddies yelling, MJ, calm down. MJ, step back. Come on, calm down, man.
St. Pete Police tells TMZ the cops were called to the bar around 1:39 a.m. on Monday due to a fight or disturbance. This is a week ago. However, the spokesman said no arrests were made. All right, here's the audio where I guess the bar, somebody at the bar, they lost his credit card and he's having a meltdown.
Call him. I ain't did a damn right ain't did shit wrong.
Wait on the man. Wait on the police, bro. Wait on the police. Wait on the police. Don't touch nobody.
I don't know if, just having your credit card misplaced, I don't think they did it deliberately. I don't know why you melt down.
It's still an upsetting situation. I don't want to go to a bar and have them lose my card.
But here we're getting some national attention on the TMZ website with a local football player that went on to do decent things, I guess, with the Dallas Cowboys, and then having a meltdown. Where's the Kenwood? I never heard of the Kenwood.
Kenwood is a bar.
I'm not really quite the local Tampa Bay bar hopper these days.
Okay, it is a dog bar, by the way. And I'm finding the...
You can bring your dog to the Kenwood? Is that it?
And
Can I
it is
bring
on
my- can I-
20th Street North and between 4th and 5th.
Can I bring my
Avenue.
Shih Tzu?
Sure.
All right, just checking. All right, so we're getting national attention because of an incident at the Kenwood bar.
Maybe the Kenwood should keep a better eye on people's credit cards.
What if they misplace your dog at the Kenwood and not just your credit card? What if that happens? All right, on the celebrity front, and then we'll get to the creepy Airbnb story. Oh, you know what? Let me say hi to a listener.
What? We're doing shout outs?
Yeah, no, I ran into Michelle and I. We just had a craving for a burger yesterday. And at about 4 o'clock, early dinner, Michelle and I hit the Shake Shack at Midtown, and I ran into a listener. Also, can I point out, folks might not believe this, that was the first time we've ever been to Shake Shack at Midtown. Now, I've been to the original Shake Shack up in in New York all the time in the park. I've been to numerous Shake Shacks. I would avoid the Shake Shack at JFK. It sucks. There's a Shake Shack in Terminal 3 or 4, whatever it is, at JFK, and it is not good. Yeah, I would not recommend. But I'll tell you, went to Shake Shack at Midtown in Tampa yesterday, and it was great. I shot a little video. You want to see me shove the burger in my mouth? I shot a little 10-second video admitting, believe it or not, folks, first time ever. Fester, have you been to Shake Shack at Midtown?
I have.
I thought
yes.
you would be.
I mean, people are passed out in their car right now. Holy crap! It's the first time MJ's been to this hamburger stand.
Listen, I
mean, they can't believe it.
Listen,
They're driving off the road. What?
I'm just saying
It's
that
craziness.
people might be surprised.
Oh my
that-
God, I'm so surprised.
Dude, I'm saying that people might be surprised that it's been open for a couple of years. I've never been to the Shake Shack in Midtown with Michelle.
Wait,
Can't
never?
believe it.
Never?
Froggy, Froggy,
Never?
Froggy, hold on. Never, ever the one in Midtown. But he's been to like 12 other ones. But the one in Midtown, never.
Never.
Look how obnoxious Fester's
That is
Roxanne.
true.
Never ever.
Okay, are you sitting down? I have some surprising news for you. You're really going to want to hear this.
Strap in.
This is the first time MJ's been to Shake Shack.
What?
Ever. In the Midtown
Stop
one.
it.
Yeah, I know.
The Midtown
At
one.
Midtown
Right.
Tampa. Oh my God.
Oh my
Anyway, I shot a little video. If
Oh.
you want to see my cheeseburger, my double
God.
cheeseburger.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it looks like everybody else's. But yes.
But
and
I made the revelation that I'd never been here.
Is that a
anyway,
revelation?
The little 10-second video is on my Instagram, Certified MJ Radio. That's Certified MJ Radio. But the real reason I'm bringing
who
this
are we
up.
shouting out?
No, while I'm sitting there, a guy comes up to the table and says, "Hey, I've been a listener since the beginning of the MJ and BJ days. I listen every single morning on the way to work. So I've got to say hello to Ralph. Ralph is a huge listener, big fan of the MJ Morning Show, and I met him at Shake Shack yesterday.
What do you do? Announce you're there? Hey, I'm MJ from the MJ Morning Show. I'm here to eat.
I
For the
did
first
not.
time ever.
All right, listen, I was just sitting there with Michelle, and Ralph saw me and came up and said hi, which I've got no problem with. So Ralph, who's driving to work right now, Ralph, thanks for listening to the MJ Morning Show, and thanks for coming up at Shake Shack.
Yeah. Thanks,
Ralph, did you know that was my first time ever to the Shake Shack in Tampa?
Ralph.
He sure does.
Yeah.
My first time ever there, Ralph.
Wow.
Yep. All right, I got a creepy story.
Creepier than the way you said that.
Oh, this is, yes, it is far creepier than the creepiness that I just exuded on the air. This is an Airbnb warning, and you tell me what else could have been at play here. A mother and 4 teenage girls fled an Airbnb because they got spooked the hell out. The woman from here in Florida was up in Kentucky at an Airbnb and got out and went to a hotel after she got back from an event. She was out for the night. They got back. Laura Schilling is her name, and she flew into Lexington, Kentucky late last week for this event. It happened to be a equine event. It was a horse event.
Horse show.
And, Kentucky, Bluegrass State, Kentucky Derby, lots of horse activity, lots of equestrian activity in the state of Kentucky.
Really?
I'm more into the Kentucky bourbons and ryes and whiskeys.
You want to have a good time, feed
Yeah.
some bourbon to a horse.
Yeah. Will you stop
and
it?
just watch
Will
them.
you stop it? So, Laura Schilling was up in Kentucky with her daughter and 3 friends. So the mom and 4 teenage girls gets to the Airbnb and notices that something was a little off. This is according to Fox 56 up in Kentucky. Now, this whole incident happened back on April 13th, so about 10 days ago, while Laura and the 4 teenage girls were at this Airbnb home in Lexington. The front door was wide open and the glass storm door was closed. She was uncomfortable right off the bat, but claims that she thoroughly checked the home before allowing the girls to go inside. So you show up, you get there, and the front door is wide open. Schilling claimed that after being away from the property, they found that someone had unlocked the deadbolt on the front door, although they had only used the garage for ingress and egress in and out of the Airbnb. So it seems that they had checked in, They went to one of these horse events, came back after they'd already gone there for the first time, and the front door was I guess opened, and someone had unlocked the deadbolt on the front door. All right, that's a little weird.
A lot of horseplay going on around here.
Now, wait, this is where it gets really creepy. Later that night, she says, when we returned, the girls hung out and we got ready for bed around 11:30. One of the girls came in and told me that her window was open. Oh, my God.
So somebody's been in there or is trying to gain access to go in there while they're home.
All right, so we have the front door, which was undeadbolted. Now a window in one of the bedrooms where one of the teenage girls was sleeping was open. My mom and I went to find that both windows in their rooms were indeed unlocked and cracked open as well. Schilling then realized that all of the windows in the home had been opened in a similar position. Somebody, while they were away at the horse event, opened all of the windows and undid the latch, and they were cracked just a little bit. And they were 100% positive that every single window was closed and locked before they left. And now they come back, and they're all just cracked a little bit, and all the latches. That means somebody was lurking and creeping and crawling inside this Airbnb. All right, Professor, stop.
That's good.
Yeah. Now, the next thing caused her... All right, Professor, can I please tell...
Is that clopping?
No, that's me eating oats.
Stop. Professor,
God, you're
stop.
annoying.
That's pretty close to the rim.
Let me finish the story.
You're so annoying today.
Stop. Stop. All right.
You're so annoying.
Then what happened next, this is what caused her to call the police.
What?
She says, when I opened the window, there was a car that had been parked across the street with heavily tinted windows.
Was it a Mustang?
When I looked up and looked... All right, Fester, would you please stop?
I'm asking. It's a
Can
legitimate
I
question.
finish the
It was a
freaking story?
Bronco.
Please. Was it a Bronco?
When I looked up and I saw the car and they saw me, the car immediately started and took off. So she looks out the window, notices this car with heavily tinted windows, and the person in the car obviously saw her looking out the window, and then the car started up and took off. They called 911. They called the police. A sheriff's deputy quickly came, scoped out the Airbnb. This is at 11:38 p.m. No signs of forced entry. Now, this is where it gets creepy. I feel like somebody was here to take the girls.
Ooh.
Schilling told WTQV, a local television station up in Lexington, Kentucky, I said, I feel like we could have woken up and something very different tomorrow morning. And I said, trust your gut. I can't say for certain that that's what was happening. Police told the group to leave the Airbnb and find a hotel or motel for the remainder of their stay if they felt unsafe. The officers stayed with them at the house while they packed up their belongings, and they got the hell out. I don't need to hear a voice that goes, "Get out." All I need is open doors, undeadbolted front doors, all the windows opened up, a car across the street that appears to be looking and then takes off when you spot him. Schilling then messaged the host of the Airbnb about what happened. The host was like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? Schilling said that she did not hear back from her after that oh my gosh message. So was the Airbnb host in on some type of suspicious activity? Who would go into the house while they were out and open all of the windows, undoing the latch and cracking the windows just a little bit, one window wide open? Who would do that?
I mean, you think that the owner is the one who has access to it.
The deputy felt strongly that we had been set up for someone to take the girls that night. So apparently the deputy thought that that was a possibility. That after they had gone to bed, that somebody was going to come through a window and potentially kidnap one or more of the teenage girls inside the house.
Oh, boy.
Wow. The Airbnb host identified only as Rosanna. Rosanna.
Hold on a second. You don't want me making horse sound effects, but you start busting out into Rosanna
All right,
songs?
So contacted Rosanna about the door being open the first night and the windows being open after they came back from dinner. According to, and I'm looking at the screenshots of the messages. She contacted Airbnb about the incident, but has no result yet from Airbnb. How could they not respond?
I mean,
that is just creepy beyond belief that even the deputy said that it seemed to him that somebody was setting the house up to kidnap one or more of the teenage girls inside the Airbnb.
Ooh, that's terrifying.
Wow.
Yeah, when you sign up for an Airbnb, do you tell them who's staying there and what ages they are?
I don't know if you have to you
No.
put the number of people or how many kids or anything like that.
No.
Like, you do in hotels.
We've done only 2 Airbnbs. We did a great apartment we rented in Paris in the 16th. And then we rented a house for Michelle, me, Chloe, my parents, Michelle's parents for Julian's graduation up in Connecticut.
Yeah, where your dad broke the wall.
Oh, my dad fell. And my dad's, my dad's fallen a lot these days. He's 81. It's like, oh man, he's got bumps on the head. He's got skinned knees and elbows. He's got black eyes. Yeah, my dad's 81 and he's starting to really lose his balance. But we were up at the Airbnb. This is a year ago. This is last. Was it late May or early June? I think it was early June when Julian graduated high school up at boarding school. And my dad in the Airbnb, he slipped and fell and smashed the bedroom door into the wall so hard that, that the little metal door stop that pokes out from the baseboard?
Yeah.
He fell into the door so hard, he snapped that out of the wall, and then the door handle went right through the drywall. And then I walk in the room, I'm like, what the hell happened here? And they're like, oh, yeah, it was like that when we got here. I'm like,
it wasn't like that.
What are you talking about? It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. Anyway, creepy story.
I feel like we generally do know how many people are staying at the Airbnb.
When you guys rent out,
yes,
because
we do.
Roxanne and Dig Dug, they've got some Airbnbs. All right, 7:52, running a little late here. Because I wanted to tell this story at 7:45. However, for me, 7-8 minutes late is pretty good. All right, now, something happened at my house over the weekend. I didn't want to preview this because I just didn't want anyone. I was just a little. I wouldn't say nervous. I was just a little. I'm skittish. I don't. So we had our house tented over the weekend. I just didn't want to broadcast ahead of time. Hey, MJ's house is getting tented this weekend.
That's the time to announce it because the last place you want to break into is a place being tented.
You know what they told me?
What?
The tenters, and man, I used a great company.
I thought you just borrowed one of Fester's shirts.
No.
It was 2 shirts.
One of Fester's 5XLs could tent my entire house. Exactly. No, the tenter guys were telling me that it never fails that people, when they drive by while they're tenting a house, they're like, hey, is that Breaking Bad in there?
Oh, always. Yeah, everybody's a comedian.
Yeah, the storyline with, what was it? Was it Vominos Pest Control, whatever it was?
Yeah.
Was that it?
I think Vominos, yeah.
And remember, they set up this fake pest control company to tent house to then do their meth activity. Have them, because hey, who's going inside a tented, fumigated home? Nobody. Well, there have been stories though.
People breaking in.
I haven't heard of one of these in a long time.
Yeah, you learn.
Yeah, but there were several in Florida where people tried to break into tented homes that were being fumigated. And I want to say that over the decades, there have been several stories where a crook trying to break into what they thought was an easy mark. No one's home. The house is unoccupied. It's being tented. I'll break in. I'll steal stuff. And I want to say there were stories that here in Florida where some people have died. Burglars have died. Anyway, I didn't want to kind of pre-promote that I was getting tented this past weekend, but I had mentioned, a couple of months ago, this was in January, February, I mentioned that we had discovered some termites in our master closet, like in the center of the house. It was just weird. But, man, those termites, you don't know where the hell they are. Well, the whole the old adage is, if you're in a home in Florida, you either have termites or you're going to get termites. And, I had a couple of neighbors when they were tenting the house, a couple of neighbors, like, hey, getting tented, huh? I got termites. I'm like, you do too. I'm telling you, every house on my street, every house in my neighborhood, and in South Tampa, it's about every 10 years. About every 10 years, you need to tent your home. And I was told that in Hyde Park, it's even less. You got a lot, the older houses, older wood. In Hyde Park, the average is every 7 years. So I use these great guys. I used Magnum. And I did a lot of research on this, and I settled on Magnum. And they do a lot of tenting for other companies as well.
Okay.
So, not all there's only a handful of companies that actually do the tenting.
So you could sell the fumigation job, but then they do the...
Exactly. Okay. So you might have, a Fester's Pest Control, but you don't do the actual... You would contract Magnum to do the fumigation for you, but I went right to the source, and I used Magnum, and they were fantastic. I couldn't ask for. This is the second time my house has been tented. My house was tented about 10 years ago, and this is the second tenting. And there's nothing crawling in my house right now. I'll tell you that. Nothing crawling. And just a couple of interesting things. We were trying to get a hotel room to stay in, and the rates were through the freaking roof. Staying at a hotel on like Dale Mabry or off of West Shore and Lois, if the places weren't sold out, it was like $350, $379 a night. I'm like, what?
This is one of the worst weekends
yes.
to look for a hotel in town.
Guess what? Freaking Kenny Chesney.
Yeah. It's a huge concert.
Kenny Chesney. So Kenny Chesney.
He's here.
He was there Saturday night. Yeah, he was.
Doesn't that guy sell out like?
Yes.
Yeah, like football stadiums. Yes, that he did on Saturday night.
The football stadium on Dale Mabry.
The big one.
Yeah, Ray J. You might have heard of it.
I can't name any of his songs.
So either can I. All right. So I'm not a country music aficionado. So Kenny Chesney was in town on Saturday night. And as we're trying to find a hotel room early last week, we're getting like sold out. Like Michelle's first choice was like the Courtyard, the Residence by have a little kitchenette and everything for a couple of days. Sold out. And then we're like driving down Dale Mabry. It was like across from Lowe's. You get that little hotel in South Tampa, kind of a newish hotel, right across from Lowe's and Jimmy John's that used to be the Crystal Burger in South Tampa. Call up there. It's like, $329 a night. And what is going on here? What? And it's like freaking Kenny Chesney. So that's what jammed all the prices up. But listen, it was just easy. We got out of the house. They tented the place. They shot the Vicane gas. Everything in the place has been terminated, and they I guess took the tent off on. They tented us Friday morning. They shot it Friday afternoon, and then they took the tent off Saturday. They did the first clear Saturday. Then they did a second clear on Sunday morning. We were back in Sunday morning.
Perfect.
As they walk around with this like sniffer device
to make sure the chemicals are gone.
Yeah, because it sniffs every multiple times a second, and it tells you how many parts per million of the gas is still in the house, and it's like 0.000. So it's safe to go back in.
I think you and Michelle should have rented a room at like a really seedy motel and just pretend the cheapest, seediest motel, and just pretend like you're a couple on the run, like in a movie.
Where did Humpty Hump get it?
The Vista Inn.
Yeah, the Vista Inn on Beers.
You could have come up. Yeah, it would be great. We made your reservation. They weren't sold out for Kenny Chesney.
They were not.
They had some availability.
All right, and then one final thing on the tent thing. One final thing. So Michelle is, texting some friends and texted a friend of hers that we've tented our home. Something comes up about, we're not at home this weekend. We're staying somewhere. And And Michelle's like, yes, we tented our home, and tented got auto-corrected to rented. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Are things tough? Did what's going on? Do you have to rent your home for some spare cash, or during the Super Bowl? When the Super Bowl's in Tampa,
Oh, yeah.
some of the homes in Tampa get ridiculous rental prices for the weekend. Like, listen, I turned it. Should I say this? All right, I'll say it. All right.
Don't want to twist your arm.
Who just meowed? Was that you, Andrew? All right, Andrew's meowing at 8 o'clock to remind me of the Cash Kitty. All right, let me do that now. And I don't know if I've ever told this on the air about I had an offer to rent my home for Super Bowl. Hold on. First, though, the Cash Kitty's back. This hour's word is collect, as in, would you like to collect $1,000 right now? This hour's word is collect, C-O-L-L-E-C-T. That's collect. Text it nationwide to 45911 before 8:15, quarter after, for a shot at $1,000 cash. Or you can enter it on the Q105 app or at myq105.com. This hour's word is collect. Text the word collect to 45911. Good luck from the MJ Morning Show here on Q105. Next shot after this one is 10 a.m., then 12 noon, then 3, and then 5 p.m. But the Cash Kitty exclusively here on Q105. So when the Super Bowls were in Tampa, we had offers, or we had agents or people we knew, hey, you want to rent your home? And last Super Bowl here in Tampa.
The Tom Brady Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I was hit up. I was asked, would you like to rent your home for the week? And it was like $50,000. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I could have rented my home for $50,000 for the week.
Wow, good move not to.
But listen, I don't want to move out of my home. I don't want some strangers in my home. I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, please.
Playing with all your radio stuff, all your antique radios.
Who knows
touching
what they're
that
going to
stuff,
do?
yeah.
Sleeping in my bed. And plus, you hear the stories about damage. I don't want my home damaged. I don't want anyone. So, I forewent a $50,000 payday for a week because I didn't want anyone living in my home for the week. I'm sorry.
Just admit you were too lazy to clean up.
No, it has nothing to do with that. I just don't want strangers in my home.
$50,000. I can't. I'm not picking
Listen,
leaving my underwear on the floor.
$50,000's a lot of money. I mean, trust me. I thought about it for about a second, and I said no. But listen, I recognize that $50,000 is a lot of freaking money.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't do it.
That's a $1 for every inch.
What? No, it's not. If square,
It's 50,000 square feet is your house, right?
Are you sure to say square footage?
Square foot, yeah.
Get out of here.
50,000 square inches doesn't seem
My
like a
home
lot.
is, get out of here.
Square inches. No, but your house is 50,000 square feet.
It is not 50,000 square, not even close. Stop it.
Are
Get out of here.
Walmart's
Stop.
50,000 square feet? I don't know.
Yes, so Walmart's are typically, I think, about $110.
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of money, David Beckham is suing Mark Wahlberg for $10 million?
What?
Yeah. I mean, I
Mark
thought,
Wahlberg is so annoying.
I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, what? Mark Wahlberg is getting sued by David Beckham for $10 million.
That's right. I'm going to sue you.
So what the hell is going on here?
Oh, I see.
Let's talk about the litigants entering the courtroom.
Was that have something to do with his soccer team or something?
I'm guessing this will never make it to court. David Beckham is suing Mark Wahlberg for what he is saying are losses after a deal on branding didn't work out for F-45 training.
They're popping up all over the place.
Yeah, which Mark Wahlberg has a 36% stake and is also the CBO.
That guy has a stake in everything.
That is the chief branding officer. What if he has a stake at a steakhouse?
I'm sure he does.
Oh, Wahlburger.
Right.
Is he part of? Is he part of?
Burgers?
Yeah. Well,
Yes, he's part of Wahlburgers. He's part of. He has a clothing line. He has a tequila.
Yeah.
He has everything.
So DB Ventures, David Beckham Ventures, claims that Beckham was duped by Wahlberg. So Bend It Like Beckham is claiming that Mark Wahlberg duped him?
Beckham couldn't think of a better name for his company besides DB Ventures.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, I might have just revisited that. You could have called it David Beckham Ventures, and there would be no confusion.
How about Douchebag Ventures?
What?
Whoa.
Whoa. What? I mean, let's go with DB.
Beckham claims he lost $10 million out of pocket when stocks that he was promised were not given to him until the share prices for F-45 training had already hit the skids. Yeah, he's also suing Wahlberg's investment firm, Mark Wahlberg Investment Group, along with F-45 founders Adam Gilchrist and Rob Deutsch. Yeah, they launched F-45 Fitness in Australia back in 2012.
How do these people have like 800 jobs? Like, I don't get it.
Well, they don't do it. They just have money invested in it.
Yeah, and they have people that kind of manage all this stuff.
Yeah, right. He came down here to promote his tequila and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Just the fun stuff.
He's not like,
He's annoying is what he is.
He's not making the agave.
He's not in the desert harvesting agave.
Yeah, right. I mean,
All right.
seriously. He's not working the field.
He's just the
You don't
dog and
know.
pony show.
You might.
Anyway, this will be interesting to watch.
You know, these fitness things, do you know anything about them? Like something like his F-45.
Do we have one locally?
I don't believe in fitness.
There's a bunch of them locally.
Oh, you know what? I
think it's a franchise model.
Yeah. So the F4, that's where the F and the 45 are all kind of jammed together and kind of I've seen those. Yeah.
I've never been to the local ones, but my friend goes to one in Miami, and these places, the one she goes to, they just yell at you and scream at you, and you have to stay in this fitness program for 52 days. I mean, it is so intense, the stories I hear.
Hold on, they're yelling at you because they're trying to motivate you.
Yes.
Well, that's good then. If you want to get in shape.
Yeah, but I don't want someone yelling at me. I'm just going to.
Then you don't go there. If you want to get in shape.
Don't go to F&DB 45. What is it? Is that what it is?
F&DB 45?
What's the name of the place?
Yeah,
it's F45.
I haven't been to F45, so I know nothing about F45, but I know that the sort of competitor that my friend goes to, and she said it's like all these 9-foot-tall Brazilian model-looking girls, and it's just like they're Instagramming and taking IG photos the whole time with the trainer screaming at them, and I'm like,
sounds great.
But Roxanne knows nothing about it. But I'll disparage your company.
No, I didn't name the company, but I'm just disparaging it. Obviously, no, not F45. They're a competitor.
Oh, okay.
F40.
Oh, hold on. So F45 are not the screamers?
No, I know nothing. I said that.
We all thought that.
Well, that's because you don't listen. I said F4. I know nothing about F45.
We all thought you were talking about F45 was screaming at you.
A competitor type of business.
But that's fine. If you want to get in shape and you're some slack ass, couch eater like Fester.
I don't eat couches. I eat on the couch.
You want people to yell at you to get you into shape. If you're serious about it.
All right, come on. Let's do the pump. Come on.
I'd rather eat the ice cream.
I'm self-motivated.
And lift.
Yeah, F45s, MJ. There might be 20 Bay Area locations.
Yeah, I know that. I've seen the logo. Is there one like on Dale Mabry? I think I've seen somewhere.
There's a couple of them.
Yeah, you know what? F45 Palmacia. Yeah, I'm looking at the Google map right there. Yeah, I know I've seen them. I've never been in one, but I've seen them. All right, so hey, we'll follow this. David Beckham suing Mark Wahlberg. I wonder how many people knew that Mark Wahlberg was part of the whole F40. He owns what, 30-something%?
Some kind of Shark Tank deal, I bet you.
Of F45. Wow. Hey, I've got a blast from the past. I've got something you haven't heard in a long time. So a couple of just kind of straggling OJ Simpson stories. I can't believe I didn't think of this when OJ Simpson died. But I thought of it over the weekend when I saw some new O.J. Simpson stories pop up. I thought of this then. Do you remember?
O.J. Simpson murdered Nicole Simpson and Ronald Goldman. He stabbed both of them to death with a machete. He was arrested on 2 state murder charges. O.J. Simpson was taken to jail. O.J. Simpson, O.J. Simpson, O.J. Simpson, O.J. Simpson.
You remember this?
Yeah, absolutely. I know exactly who it is.
O.J. Simpson's surrender was at 11 a.m. He was arrested by the Los Angeles Police Department at 9 o'clock p.m. Outside the walls of Simpson's estate, members of OJ Simpson's family hugged each other. They cried after word of the arrest came out. OJ Simpson, OJ Simpson, OJ Simpson, OJ Simpson.
Some good quality.
Wait, there's an ending.
Yeah. Do you remember the name of this guy?
Yes.
What was it?
Wesley Willis.
Wesley Willis.
Now he'll tag the song at the very end with, with a catchphrase from a product.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like, Coke, you've got the right one, baby.
Yeah,
or
so
something like that.
Every one of his songs, he did a little tagline from an ad. All right, I think he comes back here.
It's taking a while.
This is a musical break here. Yeah, now he comes back in a second. All right, here we go. Come on. All right, let's go. Hey, Wesley, come on. Wesley, take it back up here, buddy.
It was just him and his keyboard, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just like a keyboard loop.
Stop!
All right, Wesley.
Here we go. Here we go.
OJ Simpson was a no-good jerk. He is a tool. He had no business killing his ex-wife Nicole and her friend Ronald Goldman. OJ Simpson played on the naked gun in Roots, but as of now, he is a hardened criminal. OJ Simpson, OJ Simpson.
What's the noise in the back?
It's like the crowd cheering.
OJ Simpson.
It's like the break in Prince's Pop Life with the cheering crowd.
Rock on Chicago, the exclusive company. Say it with me.
Was that his plug?
Yeah, Rock Over London, Rock Over Chicago, the exclusive company. I didn't quite make it out. Say it with me.
Anyway, that guy was Wesley Willis. I believe he's deceased now.
Yes.
Wesley Willis would do all of these like songs, and I think he would use the same exact music track for every single song.
Well, you guys have a bunch of his songs.
Yeah.
Where are those?
He died in 2003.
Wow. Yeah,
Jason.
Wesley Willis. Did you hear? He says O.J. Simpson was a bleeping. We had to bleep out the F-bomb and
lyrical genius,
and a-hole and everything.
He was laying into him, man.
All right, so that was
he had no right to kill his ex-wife
and her friend Ronald Goldman.
Wesley, want to hear it again?
No,
all right,
no.
So all right,
cut that music bed out.
Wesley Willis. That's very entertaining stuff. So I just thought of over the weekend. I'm like, oh man, who is that guy? And it took me a second, and I found it on YouTube. That O.J. Simpson and a bunch of Wesley Willis's stuff is on YouTube. If you just go to YouTube and just type in Wesley Willis songs, just his crazy songs will pop up. And I did see some O.J. Simpson additional stories over the weekend. That's why I was thinking about that. O.J. Simpson's Bank of America credit card has hit the auction block. What? According to TMZ, a Bank of America Business Advantage cash rewards credit card with O.J. Simpson's name on it is up for auction.
All right.
Oh, man. All right, that's number one. Number two.
What do you do with it? It's just a piece of useless plastic,
obviously,
right?
Listen, it's obviously not good anymore. And then we now have a revision. Remember the story that came out that O.J. Simpson's entire family was around him when he passed away? That has now been revised by an O.J. attorney that he died with only one person by his side, despite the claims that he was surrounded by all of his children and grandchildren in the final moments.
Who was with him?
A longtime Simpson lawyer, Malcolm Laverne, told the Associated Press that an April 11th post on X from Simpson's family that said he died surrounded by family was inaccurate. Wait a minute. The family's lying about them all being there? Really?
It's just, those kids didn't ask for
Are
any of that
you
craziness.
whispering over there?
Yeah, no, those kids, I just think about those kids who are adults now. They didn't ask for any of this. It's just, trying to put out whatever and get it behind them. But apparently it's one person, and we don't know who that one person was.
Thanks for getting a little louder over there.
Yeah, AC Callan should have been the guy.
Yeah.
Are they not going to parade his body through downtown Los Angeles in the white Bronco?
Dude, he's already been
I know, but they're
cremated.
not gonna
We
take
had, we had it last week.
Right, but they're not going to take the urn and just give it a ride to his final place of interment.
Oh, glue the urn to the top of a white Ford Bronco and just drive down the 405, the
Yes.
710, you know, the
Yes.
101.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, where are his ashes going to be put? Are they going to be like on some mantle somewhere? Or are they going to the NFL Hall of Fame? Are they going into the ocean?
Hertz Rent-A-Cars. I don't know.
Okay.
I thought his
The Hertz
body-
counter at LAX?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hal Herman already had this story, guys.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
true.
right.
Yeah, you're right.
Jeez.
Sorry, Hal.
He broke the story last week.
So, Roxanne, explain to me, in your email to me last night, just with a couple of show prep ideas and some story links, you were conceding that you were wrong and I was right regarding Jennifer Lopez?
Yes, we had a conversation about this
Listen,
month or so ago.
I'm not really keeping score on me being right about stuff.
I can tell.
But can you refresh my memory? I don't. Now I remember we did the story on the show that J-Lo was canceling all of her concert dates.
Yes, we did.
Including the Amalie Arena date.
Right. And I feel like there were a string of dates that she was canceling, like a chunk around August or September, whenever it was. So we were hypothesizing why she might have done that. And your answer was just straight up ticket sales. Ticket sales must be a problem.
And what did you say?
I said maybe she has like a graduation thing she has to go to.
I don't know of many graduations in August.
Well, if they take a summer semester, then yeah.
Summer
then,
course.
Then
There's
right about time for them to graduate.
There's no graduation in August.
Yeah, there is.
Sometimes
There really is.
The 12-week beauty school cycle.
There's
Yeah,
not.
there is.
The big no.
Sorry.
No, there's not.
Okay.
If you
A graduation trip with the family
There's no-
after they get their
no,
diploma
there's
from
no-
high school in August.
there's no graduation ceremony
Pick your own
for
cross.
colleges in August.
Well, I'm not debating that.
Those
All I'm
happen
saying
in
is
May or June.
I'm telling you I'm wrong, and I'm trying to deliver the wrong information that I was giving you at the time, which was I thought she had a family obligation, and she was like, forget it, I'm not going to do those tours. Those
and I said
cities.
the only reason why she canceled is because they weren't selling any tickets. Now,
And you were correct.
I was. So thank you for pointing out that.
Oh, MJ was correct. Yay.
Hey, I didn't bring this up. You did.
Yeah,
I forgot about it.
You know what?
So
I think she has a
Roxanne,
family trip planned.
Roxanne sends me the story. How Jennifer Lopez has fallen from grace due to bonkers documentary, lack of tour sales, and album debuting at 38 in the Billboard Top 200. The star has become mocked online with her recent sales falling. I don't want to mock J. I like J-Lo. I have no problem with J-Lo.
I'll mock her.
Fester, please stop.
Listen.
I have no problem with J-Lo. And I wish her the best. I find her to be likable.
Name one song.
But, I don't know any J-Lo songs.
Okay.
All right.
Jenny from the Block.
Well,
You can't even name.
That's part of the problem, I think, is when I saw that Jennifer Lopez, that she was booked at Amalie Arena and other stadiums and arenas.
That's the right size venue for that kind of act, though.
What, Amalie?
Yes.
I
put her to the amp.
You know what? Well, clearly they couldn't sell enough tickets for J-Lo at Amalie.
USF Sundome is more appropriate.
It's the Yingling
Listen,
Center.
as soon as I heard that J-Lo was doing a concert at Amalie, I'm like, how the hell are they going to fill Amalie with J-Lo fans? Now,
All right. So Janet Jackson comes to town. She goes to Amalie.
Absolutely.
All right.
Madonna fills Amalie.
I went to a Pink concert that was awesome at Amalie Arena years ago.
They're having a hard time filling it with Heart.
Heart,
Heart
is an act that should probably be at the amp.
Heart is coming up. Now, I like Heart. And Cheap Trick is going to be. I tell you, I'd go for Cheap Trick. I like Heart. Dun, 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 dun. I like Heart, but also Cheap Trick is going to be with Heart at Amalie. I think it's this week, right?
I don't know. I have to listen to the commercial.
I think it might be this week.
Heart with Cheap Trick. Please buy a ticket.
Yeah, but I would absolutely. I would say, hey, go see Heart. Go see Cheap Trick at Amalie later this week. I would recommend that. But Roxanne, what you were saying was that you had guessed that maybe she had some family.
That was my first guess. Is maybe she has a familial obligation.
But
in,
you were giving
in August.
You're giving me a stroke. You're giving me some credit.
Yeah.
That I said right off the bat, ticket sales.
Your guess was we have the answer to this now, and your guess was correct.
Well, thank you very much.
Wow.
No, I just listen. I don't want to toot my own horn. I just thought it was.
Yeah, he's not keeping score. Or anything.
Yeah, I'm not keeping any score.
But
I just thought that was most plausible because the minute I heard that J-Lo was going to be in Emily, I'm like, ooh, that's a big, big place for her to fill. And obviously she could not.
Sorry, J-Lo.
But leave J-Lo alone. I like
A
J-Lo.
little too big for your britches.
I like J-Lo. I think J-Lo's a very, very sweet
Well, you don't
woman.
know her like I do.
Yeah, I mean-
Hey, speaking of music, Taylor Swift's new album that dropped on Friday.
Oh, the Dead Poet Society. I love it. I listen to it.
What is it called? It's called
Something about poets.
Yeah, hang on.
Poets are creeps.
Yeah, I thought.
The tortured poets.
Did
Poetry is a scam.
How's poetry a scam?
It's not real. It's just a bunch of
I got
junk.
it.
Tortured Poets, is that what it is?
The Tortured Poets Department. The anthology.
What a horrible name.
Yeah, it
Some
really
of the
is.
reviews are not good. I was looking at some of the reviews, and I pulled audio of a Taylor Swift review. This comes from a guy that I guess is very well known, Fantano.
Fantano, yes.
Pastor, what is the
This-
matter
this-
with you?
Fantano.
This guy Fantano
Oh, he's fantastic.
has become a well-known online music critic.
Yeah, we call him the Fantastic Fantano. And you know his favorite soda is?
Fanta.
Fanta, yes.
Will you stop being a wise ass? No, but regarding the new Taylor Swift album that dropped on Friday, which I don't care.
She just
but
broke a Spotify record.
what?
It's on the Today Show. She broke Spotify's record. I don't know what record, but she broke it.
All right, here, listen to this.
We need to stop Taylor Swift. We need to stop her right now. Creatively, she is at a new low with this record, especially with songs like this. While in the past, I know she's had lots of good and valid tracks
Does this guy have
about
glasses?
the various attacks leveled against her, people taking advantage of her, treating her like crap. This just kind of seems like another level of performative victimhood to the point where it just seems ridiculous. Like you came down from the gallows, like you were hanged. And don't you worry, folks, we took out all her teeth. Ooh, she can't bite you now. I was tame, I was gentle till the circus life made me mean. Yeah, Taylor, you just have this Bane-style origin story where you were molded by the darkness.
I love this guy.
This is ridiculous. Come on, give me a break. She's high on her own supply. She's drunk her own Kool-Aid. And on top of that, she needs to stop working with Jack Antonoff. Seriously.
Yes.
No one wants Taylor dead. No one is afraid of Taylor Swift, and nobody should be. This is ridiculous.
That is Fantano.
Yeah, Anthony Fantano.
Anthony Fantano.
Well, she have a producer named Jack what?
Jack Wagon, I think.
No, it was a hum off at the end.
I think there was.
What?
The
Himoff?
producer's name was like a Himoff name, like a Russian.
We just don't.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Animoff or something?
Jack Adimoff.
I don't know.
I have to
Who's
listen.
Adam?
I have to listen back to it.
But his description of her new record and, you know, the fact that it's like, what, a creative low?
New victimhood?
Yeah.
New creative victimhood? Wow.
But that's not the only one. I saw several negative reviews. Is she just like going through the motions now? Is she just
Just pumping out the whatever.
Yeah, that's the question. Is Taylor Swift just going through the motions and just kind of like an assembly line, just cranking crap out now? Is that what it is?
So apparently Jack Antonoff.
Yes. Oh,
Not-
that was him, Jack Antonoff?
He's a songwriter that's involved with Taylor Swift stuff.
Oh, okay.
Not Jack.
I
Yeah.
thought she wrote all her own stuff.
She's a collab.
Good for Caitlin
Get it
Clark.
right. Get it right.
Good for. Well, listen, we talked about how unfortunate her WNBA salary. Number 1 draft pick, first round. And what did you see? You saw that she was set to make like $78,000 her first year?
No, like 47.
Okay.
No, Fester had the
Are
whole.
you sure?
No, Fester.
Froggy?
No, Fester. It was like a 4-year deal, right?
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, and it was like I think it was $78,000 for her first
Well, it's-
season.
Yeah,
338 over 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it escalated. At no point in the 4 years does it escalate over $100,000. It's like 80 for the first 2 years, and then it gets
No,
up.
I'm telling you, the first year was like 78.
You're correct.
Yeah.
How much was it?
I mean, I saw that, and that number stuck in my head. But
Yeah,
let me verify it.
$78,000, and there was a comparison. You know, when she first, was chosen, and you heard about what her first year deal would be, and and her 4-year contract with Indianapolis. There were comparisons that here is Caitlin Clark, who I don't want to confuse her with Caitlin Collins from CNN, but
that's not the Caitlin I thought you were going to say.
So
Caitlin Collins is bringing in $5 million a year.
So Caitlin Clark, $78,000 a year, first round, first pick, compared to the NBA's last first round, first pick.
Right.
Got a $55 million deal. $78,000 versus $55 million. Now, granted, the WNBA is a fledgling operation. There is nowhere near the TV rights. But however, there's nowhere near the marketing money, the TV rights. However, if anyone has a shot to make the WNBA more watched, more relevant, it's Caitlin Clark with what she did with college basketball. There's no doubt about it. For instance, the women's championship, the NCAA March Madness championship, for more people to be watching the Sunday game of the national championship with the women versus the men, UConn and Purdue, that says a lot. However, this is why I'm bringing this back up. So Caitlin Clark, $78,000 first year as a WNBA player, and she doesn't get past $100,000 the entire time.
I would have told them to bleep off.
Right? All right, so here's the deal.
That's ridiculous.
She signed a massive Nike contract, and this was last week. However, some of the numbers are coming out. It looks like her Nike deal is going to be worth around $28 million.
Yeah, I mean, don't cry too big of a tear for Caitlin.
And we said this when we were mentioning the numbers on Caitlin Clark that, oh, man, she's getting shortchanged, $78,000 a year. But then we talked about the endorsements. We're like, but she is going to make millions and millions and millions. We said that immediately because it was obvious. But now we know the Nike deal is worth roughly $28 million, and she's going to have many, many more endorsements. So you go, girl. You go, Caitlin Clark. And while there's a disparity in salary from the actual team itself in the WNBA league, she is going to make tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars. She's not going to be worried about her car payment or paying the rent. She's going to be just fine with all of this endorsement money that's rolling in.
So
yeah, it's like radio. They don't pay you anything, and you just get endorsements.
That's right. So Caitlin
not us.
Caitlin Clark here, MJ. She is the first player to come along that could be a female Jordan.
Larry Bird, you mean?
No, female.
She's a
Jordan.
shooter.
Well,
she doesn't dunk.
Shoe sale wise, not style wise.
Oh.
Also, somebody from the New York Daily News. Have you ever heard of a sports reporter named Dick Weiss?
I have not.
I love him.
Me neither. I mean, Froggy's a big fan of Dick Weiss. New York Times Daily News,
I love Dick.
said that in one day, Caitlin Clark has sold more jerseys than the entire Dallas Cowboys all last season.
Wow.
That's pretty big.
Good for her.
Which would probably mean the Bucks as well.
That is pretty amazing.
I'm still never going to watch a WNBA game.
I would like to know if any of our listeners, over the course of their work career, didn't go along with the customer is always right. All right, let me ask around the room. Do you believe, Roxanne, you up first.
Mm-hmm.
Roxanne, do you
Yes.
believe the old expression, the customer is always right?
I mean, you like to have that pervasive attitude.
Just answer the question.
But,
Do you believe
but there
in
are
that?
cases where the customer's wrong.
Okay, thank you. Fester, do you believe that the customer is always right?
No, I don't believe that at all.
Froggy, do you believe the customer is always right?
I have run into customers that have been very, very wrong.
Ridiculously, insanely wrong.
Yes.
And then I, rounding it out here,
Never had a customer.
I I do not believe that the customer is always right. I think,
Of course not.
I think so. Where did that expression come from? And then even not too long ago, I would hear people in business say, the customer's always right, or telling employees the customer's always right. No,
Where it came from was a company's level of service they want to provide. They don't want to disappoint a customer. If the customer needs something, the customer's always right. But then it's not true in every business situation.
It can't be.
I thought it was the Selfridge guy that came up with it.
Do you know what suffrage means?
Selfridge, the store.
No, it's not talking about women's
Okay,
voting
I can't
and
tell you.
Susan B. Anthony.
What was he talking about? Selfridge?
Harry Gordon Selfridge. Have you seen the documentary? He created the saying, the customer's always right.
Well, that was before Yelp, because I'm sure business owners do not feel that the customer's always right when they read their Yelp reviews online.
I saw a story about an individual that was fired after letting a rude customer have it. And this person was telling their story that the boss fired him because he spoke back to a customer who was being horrifically rude to him. And he said, I don't have to tolerate this abusive behavior. And then this individual that got fired is, trying to test the waters. If I was fired, do I have any kind of legal recourse for my employer not backing me up for an abusive, nasty, rude customer? You know what?
It probably does.
You heard the whole room here. All of us, we agree the customer is not always right. And that is 100% right. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to go to phones on this. I would like to hear from you, our listeners. Have you worked in the service industry? Have you worked retail in any shape, form, any business? Have you been in a situation where the customer was not right? And maybe you were backed up by defending yourself. Maybe management, maybe the boss, the owner, maybe backed you up for a customer being rude and abusive. Or conversely, have you gotten in trouble? Or you just want to tell a story. Does anyone have a story about you being abused or having a rude customer attack you? Have a terrible... Oh, look at the phones already. Phones. I was about to give out the phone number. The phones are already all ringing in here. All right, 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. Want to grab calls on this. Tell us about any incident you've had where you were just abused, you were verbally bashed, and did you let the customer have it? Did you get in trouble? I mean, there are so many different ways that this could go and different stories we can take, and every line is jammed, folks. So if you call now, you're going to get a busy signal. But as calls drop off, try to get back in. 800-990-1047, 800-990-1047. Let's start with, Fessy, you look a little bewildered over there. You all right?
The expression, the customer's always right. Now you're bringing up the abusive customer angle, and that changes the whole script, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I mean, sure, if you're in business, you work to provide great service, and the customer's always right. We want to make you happy.
Yeah,
if you're going to be a jackass,
that changes the dynamic. If you're rude, you're abusive. If there's any physical activity, clearly the customer is not always right about everything. I've never believed that. April in Hudson. April, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Well, good morning. This is my customer is not always right. As an insurance agent, it is against the law to over-insure somebody. And somebody, of course, wanted extra insurance, wanted this, wanted that. And
Hold on. Extra insurance? Were they planning on torching the place? What were they doing?
No, for themselves.
Oh.
Insuring yourself. In other words, having, let's say, Aflac, and then you also have Colonial, then you have Life that's over-insured. Well, it is against the law, and ethically we cannot do it. When he got so belligerent, I had to have other tenants help walk him out of the office, and he wanted referrals for an agency that would do it. I gave him 4 other names. He sure enough got the policies. Now that insurance agent is under investigation, and his policies were canceled.
Oh, wow.
Customer is not always right.
There we go. April in Hudson. Thank you, April.
Thank you.
Let's grab Leslie in Odessa, and heads up, it is a male Leslie. Leslie, welcome to the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Well, good morning. And by the way, I'm a Rockland County boy.
Where in Rockland were you from?
I grew up in Spring Valley.
Oh, wow, yeah. Spring Valley right next door to Nanuet. Used to drive up Route 59 right into Spring Valley.
I used to work at the Hungry Lion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Maybe you guys should get together sometime and talk about it off the air.
I'd festive stuff.
It was in the restaurant business that I learned that the customer is seldom right, but they're never wrong. You just got to figure out how to maneuver with them.
Yeah.
Any particular story stand out, Leslie?
There are plenty of stories. A lot of them had to do with drunk people, but most of the time you always had to find somebody else, a manager, and just weasel your way out of that conversation because you're not going to be right.
Do you remember Bambergers at the Nanuet Mall?
There was a little bar in the back that we used to go to on our breaks so we can go drink.
So my grandmother, my dad's mom, she would bring everything. She'd use cookware for 3 years and bring it back to Bambergers. She had a bedspread that just got frayed in the wash after 5 years, brought it back to Bambergers. So I was just thinking about, hey, customer's always right. Leslie, thanks for the call. Brad is in Lakeland. Is the customer always right?
Actually, 30 years in retail management, and I always went with the customer is always right until one day I decided, you know what, the customer is always right until they're wrong.
And what was the big change that happened? What was the situation?
I think it's, everything's changed, and what really came down to was the way you started to get treated as time went on. People were they got nasty, and you only got to take so much.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you want to help the customer. You're there to help the customer.
Brad, did you snap?
I didn't snap.
Oh, you didn't snap. I'd like a good snap story.
Snap, but I never really got to the point where I snapped.
Right. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. Angela is in Lakeland. Angela, you're on the MJ. Do you know what did I see something like? Lakeland is one of the fastest growing communities in the entire country. Did I see that recently?
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Polk County has grown more than almost any other.
Yeah. Angela, what did you say, Angela?
I said, yeah, it's not wrong. It's insane over here.
I know. Listen, I was just out in Lakeland on Friday. Michelle and I drove out to Jim McFarland's place, America's Cobbler, to pick up Michelle's shoes. And we were just out in Lakeland. So, the growth is enormous. Go ahead, Angela. Is the customer always right?
No, and actually, a good friend of mine works at Ritz-Carlton, and they have a policy of we're ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen, and if you mistreat one of the ladies and gentlemen, they will kick you out. They have zero tolerance for it.
Is that the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando?
All Ritz-Carlton.
Oh, all of them. Oh, no, I realize that. But does your friend work at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, no, I like that. Yeah, I mean, you can't, just because you're a Ritz-Carlton guest doesn't mean you can abuse the staff.
Oh, yeah, she could stand up to them and say, I'm a lady, I'm speaking to you like a lady, you cannot speak to me as you wish, and they would 100% back you up.
It seems like there has been a cultural change that the customer's not always right, and they're just not going to take crap from a customer that's making a scene or making a big deal out of something or, again, abusing the employees. Angela, thanks for the call. Gabriel in Newport Richey. Gabe, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Good morning, MJ. How y'all doing?
We're doing well. So you have a story for us?
Yes, indeed. So the customer definitely is not always right. I used to do pressure washing for tractor-trailer trucks for about 5 years out of Dade City. And when we would have truck drivers come in, we have specific techniques and procedures like any other job would on stuff. We would do things that we wouldn't wash because we could damage it, certain chemicals we couldn't use because it would damage trucks, because we can get in trouble. And we would have drivers sit there, get up in our faces, red in the face, like spitting in my face, yelling and arguing, saying, oh, you can hit that, you can do it like that. And it's like, I don't make the rules. Any of these companies, we don't make the, they think the employees make the rules. We don't. We just get paid to follow them, and they would get up to the point where they would just park their truck in our bay and essentially hold the whole building hostage.
Jeez.
And we would have this huge line, and then it would just hold it up, and we've got truck drivers getting mad at us from back there, and it all snowballs and whatnot. And from that day forward, from working at that place forever, not once do I ever want to touch any kind of service work again, because the customer, no way, no, they're never right on something. Not in my case.
Gabriel, thanks for the call. Heidi is next. Heidi, is the customer always right? Yes or no?
No,
Do you have a story?
I do not believe that. I worked for Publix in the deli here locally, and I had a customer come in one day, made mention that she worked for Publix. So I'm just being nice, making small talk while I'm getting her stuff. And all of a sudden, she was like very foul-mouthed with her husband and children there and everything. And I was like, okay, just maintain dignity. And I finished slicing what I was slicing. She went to the front desk to get the manager, and her husband's like, could you please just finish the order so that I can get her out of here? And I was like, no, I can't. Absolutely cannot. And
wait, she worked for like Publix corporate?
Public store.
Oh, so she worked at the store?
Well, I don't know what store she worked at.
Okay, she worked at some store, she said. Okay.
Yeah, but she
Yeah,
comes in
so
and
I'm
gives
like,
you a hard time.
So where did you work at? She's like, I'm not here for small talk. She started cursing.
Oh, man.
She's got small kids.
Was she drunk?
No, I don't believe she was drunk, but it was just unacceptable. And there were other people there, and I just smiled, and she's like, I'm going to the service desk. I'm like, ma'am, you do it exactly what you feel like you should do. I finished with that product. I set the rest of the stuff, put it back, and I walked away into the back room to the kitchen, and I got my boss, and I told him, I'm like, I cannot finish waiting on this customer.
Wow, Heidi, thanks for the call. Adam in Lake Wales. Adam, way out. Hey, Adam, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Going well. So do you think the customer's always right?
Oh, absolutely not. I work with a rental car company, so we get a lot of issues almost every single day.
Yep. Can you imagine, also the last caller with Publix, Adam, the amount of Floridians, the amount of people that walk in and out of hundreds and hundreds of Publixes, they see everything. And the same thing in your business, the rental car business, you see a little bit of everything. So what's the story?
So we do a lot of insurance rentals where the customer's car goes to the repair shop, and then we have to get them a rental. So the insurance companies normally tell the customers don't to buy our protection. Now, if that customer doesn't have full coverage, we can send their info into the insurance company where they pay for it for them.
Right.
The customer wasn't understanding that, so his son started to curse me out because it was taking too long, even though they only been there, I think, 5 minutes. So I told him that I'm just trying to do my job so you guys can get this coverage, because he would have to get charged everything if something happened to it. So he's like, well, I don't care about your job. So I'm like, all right, well, I don't have to rent you the car. I said, sorry, sir, your son just ruined the rental for you.
Wow. Now, is this a major rental outfit that you work for?
It's one of the main ones. It's one of the major ones.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen this, but I've got a friend of mine who's a big manager at Hertz. And the stories that I've heard, people that will rent cars and they'll get, let's say, a new Dodge Challenger, and they'll take the motor out of the rental car. What? Yes. Some of the stories are insane. You'll have people that will take a brand new motor out of a relatively new rental car, put it into their car, put the old engine in the rental car. People will take wheels and tires off of the rental cars and put it on their own cars.
Oh, yeah. Wheels and tires all the time.
Literally, people will rent a car at the airport or wherever, and they will steal the tires and put the old tires and wheels from a different car. So if you get the same car, and let's say you're due for new tires, and new tires might cost you $1,000 or whatever, people will rent that car, steal the newer tires and wheels off a rental, a budget, a Hertz, a Enterprise, whatever, an Alamo. And people are doing this. It's insanity.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Oh, Roxanne, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh, yeah. People will try to steal all kinds of crap off of rental cars. I heard a story. Someone stained the seat horribly in, I think it was a Ford Explorer. and they rented a similar one and then took the seat out of the rental Explorer from like budget and they put their stained seat into the rental unit. I mean, this is the kind of crap people do.
And how do you think you're not going to get caught? They do an inspection of the car.
No, guess what? If you've got a busy location, you're running stuff in and out. It doesn't always get caught. Nikki is up next on the MJ Morning Show. Nikki, hi, welcome.
Good morning.
Nikki, is the customer always right?
Absolutely not. I was a general manager for restaurants for over a decade, and 9 times out of 10, I always had my servers back and would be quick to kick customers out because nobody goes to work to be abused.
100%. Thank you, Nikki. Travis in Port Richey. Travis, MJ Morning Show, you're up.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are we doing?
Doing fine. What about the customer always right? Yes or no?
So, no, not usually. I do landscape work. I do like landscape pavers, irrigation stuff. I work on my own. But I got a story from when I was still working with a nursery. This happened out in Eastlake, and there was a customer who wanted us to come do the work. They had an HOA, though, and we told them we have to do the HOA song and dance. You got to check with them, let them know what plants you're bringing, so on and so forth. Well, the old man didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do it. He said, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. So we brought him all this material. He got gravel, he got big plants. And then he called us back about a week later because his neighbor complained about it and said the HOA got onto him. So he'd already paid for the material. So we came back and removed all the gravel and all the plants, put it in pots, and just left it on his backyard. And I have people all the time asking me to put plants in places they don't belong.
Yeah.
They'll tell me, shade plants, they want them in full sun. They want a plant right up next to the fence that'll grow 20 feet wide.
Right, so they demand on something, and then when it doesn't work out, and maybe you've even advised against it, then suddenly it's your fault, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes, yeah, absolutely. Sometimes, yep. But that's why everything goes in writing. I've learned my lesson on that.
Yeah, you got everything in writing
Yep.
except the proposal, everything, the whole thing. Travis, thanks, buddy. Brandy's in Riverview. Hey, Andrew, just let me grab Brandy, Suzanne, and Tabitha. Last 3 calls, Brandy, then Suzanne, then Tabitha on Is the Customer Always Right? Hi, Brandy, Riverview, go.
Hi. No, the customer is not always right. And a lot of times customers think they know everything. The mentality that I try to take with customers is, hey, you called me. I work in insurance, and at the end of the day, you called me asking me questions. So you just really have to kind of take ownership of that call and let them know that you're the expert. You're the one that's getting trained for it. You don't have to make people feel stupid, but in the same time, you just have to keep them on track. You have to continue driving the car, essentially. So,
You ever get into a really nasty fight with a customer?
No, I don't let them. It's not personal to me. I've had callers that call in pissed off to start off, and they're having a bad day, and I try to be understanding to that.
Are you an independent agent, or do you work for like Geico or Progressive or USAA or?
I'm an independent agent.
Gotcha. Thank you. I appreciate the call. Suzanne in Spring Hill. Suzanne, MJ Morning Show, you're up.
Hey, good morning. So I worked at Publix years ago, and same kind of thing. Customer's not always right. If you're rude, you're going to get it right back. Like, I do not accept that. So I was sitting there just ringing out people, standing at the register, and I always talk to everybody. So this lady comes up, and she's like, oh, you're not moving my stuff down the conveyor belt. And I said, ma'am, it's on a sensor. And she's like, well, if you were talking to your friends, I said, I don't know this guy. And she's like, well, I worked for corporate, and I'm going to report you. And I said, I don't care who you work for. I don't care if you're George Jenkins, the founder of Publix. You're not going to yell and.
Did you ever get reported? Did anything ever happen?
Oh, listen. Yeah, so she goes, go get your manager. I said, you go get him. I'm working.
You go get him.
Did you survive the day?
I did. She went and got the manager, and then the manager called me, and I explained to him. I said, I don't care who that person is. I don't care if she worked for, the president. You're not going to treat somebody like crap for no reason, know?
So you didn't get in trouble, and you remained there for a while?
Yeah, he did. He let me stay there, but he said he was like trying to give me like a little lecture, and I said, I'm sorry, but if you're rude, you're rude, And I said, I'm the nicest person, but you're not going to treat me or anybody I know, or even strangers. You're not going to treat people like crap.
Suzanne, thank you for the call. Have a great day.
You're welcome.
All right, last call on this. Tabitha Tabitha, last call here on the customer always right, yes or no?
Not always. That is, there are exceptions, but I'm in the medical field. So there's always that one that pushes that button. So with that being said, when things really changed was COVID. COVID really changed everybody. Everybody all of a sudden became entitled. Everybody became, it's all about me. And it didn't matter who they hurt to get there. I'm sorry, but that's how it is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think COVID changed a lot of things. Listen, it's, I think, precluded our growth as fast as I wanted because COVID changed listening habits. And, I think without COVID, our show, I think, would have become more prevalent faster, that more people would have realized that we're back. But I think COVID kind of retarded that just a little bit. Tabitha, thank you for the call.
Thank you.
You bet. That's a good point, though. Very good point from Tabitha about COVID. All right, when we get back, by the way, that brings to an end an hour and 20 minutes plus of non-stop MJ Morning Show. When we get back, is your movie theater ripping you off? And, listen, hey, this has to do with beverages. So a movie theater beverage question, and then... have you heard what's going on at Starbucks? If you're a Starbucks customer, wait till you hear what is going into effect. And they're hoping that you won't even notice. What is it? Tell you next on the MJ Morning Show here on Q105. You don't want to miss it, 8:51. Let me tell you. MJ, along with, well, not in the studio right now, but it's MJ here in the studio. And Roxanne should be here, Fester should be here, Froggy should be here, but I'm the only one. Froggy's just walking in. Froggy. Oh, here comes Fester. Hey, welcome back, Fester. Glad you guys could make it back for the final hour of the MJ Morning Show. And listen, maybe you want to see the 9 o'clock hour go away if you're not, here.
Don't ask me.
Maybe, listen.
Could you imagine heading home right now? It'd be awesome.
Roxanne, I think, is down the hall recording all kinds of stuff. So, you know what? I'm unbelievably impressed with the number of email that I got. I kind of asked a hypothetical question because, listen, I've been in this business a long time, and I asked a hypothetical question. How would you feel if the management geniuses here at our radio company, what if they wanted the MJ Morning Show to end a little before 9 o'clock? What if the show was already done? What if the show was already over?
Like right now, it would be done.
It would be done. Right now, it would be just, playing, 15 songs this hour. More music, back to back to back to back. Hey, so I asked the question, how would you feel if they ended the MJ Morning Show at 9 and we didn't go all the way until almost 10 o'clock? Because right now, we go to about 9:43 or so, 9:45, so we can start the whole 105 minutes commercial free at about 9:50 every day. So I asked the question: what if? Not my decision. Don't blame me. What if they decided that they wanted us to end at 9? So show's over now. And I asked folks to email me. Do you want the show to end at 9, or do you want the show to keep going just as it is? So do you want 3 hours of the MJ Morning Show, 6 to 9, or do you want us to continue with 4 hours from 6 until 10? And I asked folks, hey, send me an email. Just send me an email. I don't ask folks to email much. And if you've never emailed in the past, just answer the simple question. Do you want the show to end at 9 o'clock, or do you want the show to continue from 9 to 10 every day? And send me an email, mj@mjmorningshow.com. It doesn't get any easier than that. Send an email to my email, mj@mjmorningshow.com. And give me your age, your gender, and where you're from. And just send me an email. Do you want the show to continue or end at 9 o'clock? Simple. mj@mjmorningshow.com. We have a couple of beverage. And what I was saying was, I can't believe I got like 1,000 emails already. I've never the response.
What are you going to do with them? I mean,
well, first of all, it's a great database to keep in touch of our listeners. That's number one. I mean, very active listeners.
But do you think the muckety mucks would care?
I don't know. Let's see if anything ever transpires.
We'll see.
We shall see. All right, on to the beverage front here on the MJ Morning Show. Starbucks is hoping that you don't notice. Starbucks is hoping that you don't see it, that it just goes right by you, right over your head.
Making a big change at Starbucks?
Yep.
What is a venti now an ounce smaller?
They are reducing all of the cups by 20% later this month.
That's so much.
Yeah.
20%.
Yeah, New York Post reported this, and as prices continue to climb, so prices continue to go up, and now you're going to get less for the higher prices. According to the New York Post, inflation rattled Starbucks regulars struggling to accept rising prices will be spending more to get less starting just weeks from right now. Yep. So they're saying less plastic, but does this translate into the same amount in your drink? So that's yet to be determined whether the ounces are going to shrink. I guess we have to wait and see until the cups come out. So are you going to get less plastic with the same ounce beverage, or are you going to be getting just a smaller cup that also helps to reduce? Is it going to be any fractional change in the size of the cup, or are they just going to be shrinking the cup as far as plastic goes? Will the cups be flimsier? Let's say, I don't know what the ounces. I know that there's the Vendy, the Schmendy, the what are the names of the
Tall is actually a small.
Yeah,
and then a venti, which never makes any sense.
Tall
right?
venti. It's like a ventilator. Give me the ventilator.
Here's your coffee, Mr. Vader.
So that remains to be seen. Starbucks, this is all under the guise of less waste and reducing the plastics in the cup.
All right, I support that side of it.
But listen, I don't think, but as long as the cups are sturdy, you don't want the cups to be all flimsy and collapse and you grab it and it just spills crap all over your center console. You got all stickiness all in your gear shift lever. All your window buttons are all sticked up now because, you've grabbed one of those flimsy cups and just, there's no sturdiness, and the liquid will just, you grab it like with a normal grip and the thing like collapses in your hand.
When you order a coffee from Starbucks, not a frappa plastic cup drink, but don't their coffees come in paper cups?
I like the Diarino.
Yes.
I order the Diarino with,
extra thick.
with whipped cream on top.
Extra thick.
Go ahead.
In 2 pumps.
All right, go ahead.
But don't their coffees come in white paper cups?
Coffees do.
Right, but then they make the bougie
all the like the ice drinks.
Yeah.
So the hot stuff. Look, I'm not a Starbucks customer, but I know that. I can't tell you the last time I was at Starbucks. Chloe wants me to stop by occasionally. Dad, can you pick me up? I'll do it on the app. Can you just pick it up? I'm like, no. I'm not paying $19 for some kind of thing as half ice anyway. Listen, I don't know a lot about Starbucks. I'm just not a coffee drinker. But yeah, the hot stuff comes in those white and green paper cups, and then all the iced stuff comes in the. But the question is, they are reducing the cups by 20%, and the claim is to reduce the plastic waste. But will this include a reduction in actual cup drink ounceage? That is the question, and it's supposed to happen later this month. So we shall see if it affects the amount, because prices still go up. I mean, people have noticed that, there have been multiple price increases over the last, recent times at Starbucks.
Can I make a point about coffee here? I am drinking out of this Dunkin' Donuts cup, which was in our break room. It's not Dunkin' Donuts coffee. It's our crappy work coffee.
So who put the Dunkin' cups here?
Someone had Dunkin' in last week and left a whole bunch of Dunkin' cups.
Oh.
So as I'm drinking out of this Dunkin' cup, it's kind of tasting like Dunkin' coffee, even though it's our crappy work coffee.
No, it's not.
I'm like hypnotizing myself. Just like the ritual of holding a Dunkin' cup is making me feel that way. So maybe this is a solution with Starbucks. Just don't drink Starbucks.
Welcome to Rock's World.
I don't know what that meant exactly, but thank you.
Thank you for that interlude. We highly appreciate it.
Hypnotize yourself with a Starbucks cup and just,
highly appreciate the derailment. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
But I highly doubt that just putting our bad company coffee into a Dunkin' branded cup makes that taste any better.
It is.
In fact, I think Dunkin' ought to be pissed off that you put the crappy company coffee into what is typically a very, very good product.
I'm sure Dunkin' is very angry right now.
My wife, Michelle, she swears by Dunkin'. What is it, America runs on Dunkin'? No, Michelle runs on Dunkin'. That's her favorite coffee, seriously. All right, so Starbucks, end of the month, 20% shrinkage on the cups. They're saying it's plastic. Will there be any reduction in the amount of liquid with the 20% plastic reduction? That remains to be seen. Then the other beverage item is your movie theater shortchanging you. Here's a guy, Cinemark. Do we have any Cinemarks in Florida?
I don't know.
Or locally? I mean, I've heard of the chain. The big chains, you've got Regal, Regency, right? You've got AMC is the big gorilla. What else? And Cinemark. I've heard of Cinemark.
Is Regal still in business?
I said Regal.
Did you? I don't know.
I think they might be. But Cinemark. Do we have any Cinemarks in Florida or in the Tampa Bay area? Here is a guy. Andrew was saying yes.
Lakeland
yes.
Square Mall.
Cinemark is in Lakeland. So there's a Cinemark at Lakeland Square Mall.
Okay.
Yep. So we do have Cinemark in the Bay Area per se, but nothing immediately in Hillsborough, Pinellas. So Cinemark is apparently being sued by a guy that claims that he only got 22 ounces in a cup that's advertised as 24.
God.
Yeah.
Well, ridiculous.
So this guy is proposing a class action lawsuit filed this week in Texas, claiming that the theater chain Cinemark is advertising a 24-ounce drink cup that can only hold a maximum of 22 ounces. According to the lawsuit, the lead plaintiff is Shane Waldrop.
Waldrops are very unhappy about this.
He got a 24-ounce beer from a Texas Cinemark theater on Valentine's Day, and he observed that the 24-ounce container did not seem large enough to hold 24 ounces of liquid. So, Mr. Waldrop took the cup home, where he began his forensic investigation. And he found, through his own measurement at his house, that the cup that was touted as 24 ounces only held a level 22 ounces when filled to the brim. Wow. Yep. Lawsuit, another example of consumers unwittingly overpaying for a supposed benefit they're not receiving. That's Jarrett Elzey, one of Waldrop's attorneys. While 2 ounces may seem inconsequential to the seller, the bottom line is the buyer is not getting what he's promised by the seller. Listen, I can't argue with that. If they're telling you 24 ounces, you ought to get 24 ounces. Not 22 ounces. Percentage-wise, it's, close to what?
10% almost.
8% or whatever the actual number. So, it's a little less than 10% less that you're getting, that you think you're paying for. All right, so what's the story with your movie theater? Does AMC, do they have, cups that have the correct ounceage or, other movie chains? Just, heads up on that. All right, I have this complaint letter that I mentioned earlier in the show, and I got a letter from Roger Covey. And Roger, here in St. Pete, is angry at me. And he wrote a letter to Todd A-hole Schnitt. So my middle name is Andrew.
Right.
He turned the he turned the A from an Andrew to A-hole. So I'm Todd. And, of course, I am MJ, but my real name is Todd Schnitt.
What is he mad about? Why would he call you that on an envelope?
The Airstream motorhome story, which I thought that, well, we pulled some audio. I think he's angry at Froggy.
When did we talk about an Airstream?
Yeah, when the doctor going to the eclipse up in Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we don't know the whole story. Was she leaning against the door? I haven't seen a follow-up as to what happened, but Mr. Covey from St. Petersburg is angry, and I got this angry email. It doesn't say MJ. It says a-hole, comma, so he's addressing me as a-hole.
There you go.
Regarding your April 11, 2024 broadcast, you mocked a woman who died falling from an Airstream travel trailer. The sophomoric banter and sound effects you used were disturbing and offensive. Monica Woronicka, MD, was a pediatrician, wife, and mother. Mm-hmm. She dedicated her life to helping children with immunological disorders. You, on the other hand, are an a-hole. If you need clarification on just how big of an a-hole you are, please contact me. A-hole.
We should call him.
Sincerely, Roger. I don't have his phone number, just his address. Oh, and he CC'd Caroline Beasley, the CEO of the Beasley Media Group, LLC. I had Andrew pull the audio of that segment.
Okay.
So I had Andrew pull the audio because I thought we were pretty respectful. I remember saying this is awful, it's terrible. And I felt bad about this. So I asked Andrew to pull the audio. This is a follow-up. It's a shame. And this is the 11th, right? Pediatrician from Long Island.
Yeah.
That I don't even, what happened here? This is the story of the Long Island pediatrician that fell out of the Airstream trailer that she was riding in while her husband was pulling it with a Dodge Ram pickup. And they said that she flew out the side door of the Airstream trailer and she rolled out on the road still grasping the handle of the door. What happened? Did someone push her? What? But here's the deal. Guess what?
What?
They were driving from Long Island up to Niagara Falls to see the eclipse.
Oh,
So
they're driving Niagara Falls.
All right, that's terrible.
Right. Thank you for that. I guess
that is absolutely awful. I feel awful. That's terrible. So I think he's angry.
Why don't you play more of it?
I think he's angry at Froggy doing the. That's the spoof on
who played the CSI music, MJ.
But that's the on CSI Miami. How David Caruso always dropped like a zinger line, but we had more chatter on that. We had more talk about how it was just a terrible story. So this guy's all bent out of shape.
Yes,
because Froggy.
What are you trying to get Froggy in trouble with Caroline Beasley now?
Yeah, you're trying to bury me.
No, I'm
Caroline.
I remember you saying a couple jokes as well.
I did not. It's nothing to joke about. I did not joke about it. It's terrible. It's an awful story.
The problem is,
and I got Rogers all angry at us. Calling me an a-hole 19 times in one paragraph here.
You said the worst thing.
Yeah, the problem.
What do you mean? I said I felt awful.
You said she probably. When she fell out of the Airstream, she probably air screamed.
I did not say that.
Didn't he say that?
I did not say that. I felt bad for her family, her friends.
Who cares, MJ?
Oh my God! So rude.
We are. I'm not
Who cares if Roger's offended?
He's trying to protect
Roger's
himself.
offended. Roger's trying to get me in trouble with the CEO.
And now you're trying to get
me in trouble with him.
I'm not trying to get. I'm just saying that Froggy, you had the David Caruso CSI Miami zinger line,
and you played the music, so you're half at fault.
Look, if you're going to listen to this radio show, if this is a show that you are of free will choosing to tune into, occasionally we're going to say something stupid that might rub you the wrong way. For the most part, we're a pretty funny, lighthearted show. Relax a little bit. Seriously. You laugh at everything we do, and then we say something that rubs you wrong. You guys are jerks. You're insensitive. Forget it.
I don't find it funny that the lady fell out of the Airstream. I said that on the air. I said I felt bad for her family, for her friends. She was a pediatrician, for her patients.
I'm sure she was a lovely person.
I'm sure she was. It's an awful tragedy. And, listen, Froggy had to turn the whole thing into
me.
I'm kidding about
Do me a
Froggy.
favor. Send a clip of me saying that joke to Caroline Beasley.
Please.
Maybe it'll get me in trouble or something.
Yeah, please get me in trouble around here. I don't even know I work here.
Sometimes there might be a little bit of irreverence, but the gist of the story when we delivered it was we weren't laughing at what happened. I was horrified about what happened of a woman. This was not like now, there are no self-propelled Airstreams. They're all trailers, right?
For the most part, they're trailers.
Right.
A couple of small.
You've got the big ones, and I think she was in I
think she was in one called a Bambi, which is a super, super small trailer.
And you're never supposed to ride in these trailers. So she was riding in the trailer while her husband was towing the trailer with a Ram pickup truck. And that's a no-no. That is a total no-no to drive with people in the back of a fifth wheel or a camper. Isn't that Fester? You work for General RV. Isn't that the one of the number one rules is you never have anyone in the back of a trailer being towed?
It's not a good idea.
Don't they have warnings and notices?
No, there's no warnings, but it's not a good idea. There's no seatbelts in them. You're bouncing around. It's not a great ride. And if the car flips over, so do you. So
without restraint,
without any kind of restraint, I never would recommend her or advise it. However, she's a wonderful person. I'm sure she had a decorated life. She kind of died in a ridiculous way, though. And we're going to try to find humor in maybe sometimes unfunny things. And if Roger's a little bent over it, then maybe she have a smoke or something and calm down.
Well, Caroline Beasley, the CEO of Beasley Media Group at our corporate headquarters down in Naples.
Right.
I'm sure she's received this by now. I don't know if I'm going to get a phone call or a scolding or...
You're not going to get anything.
Send her my way.
Or a firing or...
Tell Caroline to talk to Froggy.
Talk to Talk to my people. Talk
Yeah,
to my
we'd
representative.
love to talk to her.
Froggy.
Nothing but love and respect
Yeah.
for her. We'll
Listen,
talk to her.
We obviously showed sympathy and empathy for this family, and I'm sorry if there was a Froggy crack and I played the CSI Miami open zinger music. Listen.
You are wrong to apologize for anything.
All right.
Let me apologize to Roger personally.
Yeah.
Roger, go screw.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, I can't apologize for your feelings, pal.
I want you to complete this when we get. Yes, Andrew.
Fester, there are really no warnings in these trailers?
Not riding it.
I thought that there were warnings in the manuals. Do not ride in the trailer. I thought that there were multiple warnings. I thought there was.
It's a whole.
None of the trailers have stickers that do not ride in this. Well, I thought there were warnings.
Maybe there are. I probably missed them.
I want you to go report back later on. Take some pictures for me. All right, 9:22 at the MJ Morning Show. When we get back, final segment. And among things coming up, I want you to complete this sentence. It's a nice day for a...
What? Wedding.
I said when we
when
get
we get back. You ruined it, Froggy.
I said when we get back.
He clearly said when we get back.
Schmuck.
But everybody else would have said that too.
But when we get back, all right, hold on. It's a nice day for a blank wedding, but maybe it's not white. Hold on.
Maybe it's not nice.
Hang on. We'll explain. And also, man, if you're selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace, you got to hear about a local story. And again, we've warned you about this in the past.
Dude, I'm trying to sell my lawnmower on Facebook Marketplace right now.
Well, hang on.
Oh, no.
You better listen to the next story. All right, hold on. We got a lot of stuff in the final chunk. Oh, and I think this is the way that Froggy travels at the airport. Wait till you hear this one. All right, lots of stuff. Final segment, MJ Morning Show next here on Q105. You don't want to move. And also... All right, 9:31 here at the MJ Morning Show, and the final chunk of the program on a Monday as we just get the week launched here. So just before the break, I was asking you guys to just think about this, not blurt it out like what Froggy blurted out. I was asking you just to think about this. You know, it's a nice day for a blank wedding. And, of course, Froggy just blurted it out. And I'm not looking for the actual Billy Idol. It's a nice day for a white wedding. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a different color. So would you like to take a guess? It's a nice day for a...
I know the answer. I'm recusing.
Oh, you know the answer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Fuchsia.
All right. That would be wrong, though. Fuchsia, so you're just going to throw a decoy color
decoy,
in? All right.
decoy.
All right, Fester. It's a nice day for a...
Green wedding.
That would be incorrect.
Okay. My favorite color is orange.
So
it's a nice day for an orange wedding.
It's a nice day for a orange wedding.
Yes.
No.
Favorite color is orange.
And, of course, Froggy, who blurted it out before the break, he's not even back yet. I don't know where the hell he is.
He is so ashamed of himself for saying white wedding before the commercial break. He can't stand to be in here.
Oh.
My daughter's favorite color is pink and or purple.
All right, Roxanne, would you like to sing it? Go ahead. You sing the actual answer. Go ahead.
Nice day for a beige wedding. Is it beige?
Yeah, it's a beige wedding. Beige wedding. Yeah, this bride is getting hammered by her guests because she's apparently telling guests that everyone has to wear beige to the wedding.
I find that annoying.
Yeah, listen, I find weddings annoying just inherently. I don't like going to events like weddings and bar mitzvahs. Whatever. I get invited to a dozen quinceañeras a year. You know?
You've never been to a beige quinceañera?
What was it, Fester? Didn't you tell me a friend told you one time, enjoy going to the weddings and the quinceañeras because pretty soon you'll be just getting funeral invites.
One time I was complaining about being invited to all these weddings, and old Dandy Loretto comes walking around, and he's like, go to the weddings. I'm like, why? He goes, because when you're my age, you go to the funerals.
Oh. Betty Adams lives here in Florida, and she was just talking about on social media the planning, the advance of her wedding, and I guess she's alienated a whole lot of people because she said she wanted everyone to wear beige. So it's a nice day for a beige wedding.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Froggy.
Yeah.
It was a beige wedding.
Yeah.
Not white.
Yeah. So that's the...
You know what?
What a sellout.
I have a problem with that, and I'll tell you why. Number one, it's
Hold on, you have a problem with a beige wedding? You have a problem with like the bride dictating what everyone has to wear to the wedding?
the request, because it is like you mentioned, you don't even like to go to weddings, but it is a lot to go to a wedding nowadays with if you have to get sitters, you have to, it's going to be fun and amazing, but you're going to spend a lot of money on a gift.
Wait a minute, it gets
What?
even worse. So yeah, you got to get, if you have kids, you got to get a sitter, you got to spend money on a gift.
Possibly travel there.
Well, and that's the other thing is we've spent a couple of segments on this show in the last year or so. Some of these destination weddings are out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I told the story. Our good friend, Dr. Chuck Slonim, one of his daughters joined us for dim sum at China Yuan over on Armenia, just north of Waters recently, maybe in the last 6 months. And she told us a story that she had 2 friends and 2 destination weddings, and it was going to cost her like 20 grand, like airfare. One was like Amalfi Coast, like near Positano in Italy. I mean, it's like, why? And they expect you to go. So airfare, hotel. The hotel was like $500 a night for the hotels, then the airfare, and then a gift on top of it.
Right. And so for me, for instance, if I was going to this wedding and she said wear beige, I don't have a beige dress to wear to a wedding, so I would have to go out and buy one. But not only that,
You know what? I'll tell you, not only that, beige is not your color.
MJ, thank you.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because I can just look at your complexion. It's very...
It washes me out.
I'm telling you right now. I can
Listen.
Beige is not your... You do not wear the... If I were a fashion consultant,
Guess what?
I would say beige is not your color.
You are spot on. That's the point I was going to make.
Blues and greens are good for you.
Yeah, you're right. Like
Yep.
I am like a cool winter. I forget my cool winter.
Cool winter.
But
maybe early spring.
Yes.
I went to
I see more as a spearmint.
I went to this woman. Her company is called Invent Your Image, and she comes up with all the colors that you should wear, and she gives you a little palette so you can go shopping and you can clean your closet, and you never have to wear colors that wash you out and look bad on you. And beige is that color for me.
Yeah. Oh,
you nailed it.
I
You
can look right at you.
nailed it.
Beige is not your color. There's
No.
nothing wrong with you. Well,
No.
there are a couple
Well,
of things,
yeah.
but just color wise, colors work on some people and not on others.
You're right.
Michelle has told me a ton of times. I'll be at a store and we'll be trying on shirts, and she'll be like, "That color's not you.
No.
You don't want that color." So again, beige wedding. This woman Betty, Betti, is here in Florida, and apparently she's caused all kinds of upheaval and consternation among her wedding party because she wants them all to wear beige because it's a nice day for a beige wedding. I have a warning, ladies and gentlemen, a warning. Here on the MJ Morning Show. Listen, bottom line is, you give us 22 minutes, and we'll give you a warning here on the MJ Morning Show. All right. Facebook Marketplace deal gone bad right here in town. Brandon guy shot twice trying to sell a car on Facebook Marketplace.
Ugh.
Man, you got to be careful who and where you meet. Again, the police department, like the sheriff's office, I know Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, they encourage people to do some of these deals in their parking lot. So Channel 8 had this story about a Facebook Marketplace deal in Brandon. Ended up with this guy being shot twice, not once, but twice.
Did he steal the car?
Investigators said it happened as the would-be buyer tried to pull off a carjacking instead of paying for the car. A mother whose identity Channel 8's protecting said she never imagined a listing on Facebook could put her son in danger. Oh, yes. We've had the stories of PlayStation ripoffs and all kinds of crap. You absolutely want to do it in a public place, but again, think about doing a transaction in the parking lot of a police station, a sheriff's office. I mean, this is Brandon. Just go to meet on Falkenberg Road, meet at D5 or or wherever. You
can do it in the jail parking lot.
Yeah, exactly. The Falkenberg Road jail.
Oh, you want to shoot me? They'll walk you right in.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the gentleman did not come with the intentions that he stated that he was coming with. He came with murderous intentions, according to the victim's mother. She said her son ran home after being shot during a meeting with what he thought was a potential buyer for the vehicle. They had already agreed and negotiated on a price, so in my son's mind, the car was sold. So he was cleaning out the last items in the car before the gentleman came for the vehicle pickup. So I guess they organized it at their house. Don't do that. Go meet at the police. Go meet at the police department, sheriff's office.
Especially if you have something of great value. I mean, remember that one time, Froggy, I was trying to get rid of all those instruments, and I put the ad up for all the rusty trombones. And the guy came to my house, and he got the rusty trombones.
My son ran to the door screaming, help.
Idiot.
And he kind of just fell through the door, blood everywhere. Investigators said responding deputies saw the victim's stolen car heading away from the scene. The driver, Caleb Davis, 23, told them that he bought the car from a post on Facebook Marketplace. And now the mother of the individual shot is warning everyone about the risk of online transactions. Absolutely. Be very careful. Extreme caution. He did not die. He's got going to have a long road to recovery, according to mom, but he is alive.
Did he lose his car?
And this guy Davis, Caleb Davis, the 23-year-old who carjacked them, is being charged with carjacking and aggravated battery. Why not attempted murder? If he was shot twice, why isn't there an attempted murder charge in there? Maybe it's going to be upgraded. Hopefully it will be. But just a warning. When you are selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace or wherever, and you don't know who the hell you're meeting, don't do it at your house. Do it in a very, very public place. Do it in front of the manatee enclosure at the Lowry Park Zoo.
No.
I'm sorry, Zoo Tampa.
Zoo Tampa.
Yeah,
they had a hard weekend.
I know.
There,
Maybe this was not a good tie.
I just saw that manatee a couple of months ago when I went on a field trip with my kids' school there.
Oh.
Yeah, so Juliet, I guess, one of the oldest manatees living in captivity.
Well, like 60-something.
Yeah, if not the oldest. Yeah, Juliet expired over the weekend, declined on Saturday overnight. And Juliet, they think, I thought I saw a report like 65 years old. I don't know if they know the exact age. I don't think they have a birth certificate from Crystal River from 1961.
I mean, these vets are pretty good at guesstimating how old these animals are.
Yeah. We're not. 65 would put you born in what year? 59? Yeah, maybe 59.
Yeah,
59. Yeah, I don't think they have a birth certificate. Yeah, so I guess Juliet they thought was around 65 years old. And weighed over 3,000 pounds. They should have named this thing Fester and not Juliet. Could we get the next manatee at Lowry Park Zoo or
Zoo Tampa?
I know it's Zoo Tampa. To me, it's always Lowry Park Zoo.
If
We should adopt one.
If they named a manatee after me, that would be like the highest honor I've ever gotten in my whole life.
We got to do that. We need to name a manatee at Zoo Tampa Fester.
Maybe we could reach out to their PR department. We could put something together. Should we do a fundraiser for the zoo?
It's got to be the biggest, fattest one.
Well, it's got to be a baby one that grows into a big.
Or
fat
listen, if they replace Juliet with a new manatee, it needs to be Fester.
It's got to be a new one. I got to be like born at the zoo.
I saw a giant one this weekend in the canals, man. It reminded me of you.
Thanks. Oh, this weekend was 420. It reminded me of you.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, speaking of 420, woman tried to board a flight at the Memphis airport with 56 pounds of marijuana in her luggage.
Oh, she had a delivery to make.
56 pounds. 21-year-old Memphis woman trying to board a United Airlines flight. Yeah, Memphis International Airport police found 56 pounds of marijuana in her luggage. The woman was charged with possession of a controlled substance with intention to manufacture, deliver, or sell. Think so? A felony offense, harsh penalties.
That's lots of money.
Yeah. Don't harsh my buzz.
Damn.
Oh, man. Yeah, the woman is now free, though. She did post a $5,000 bond. But do people really think they could put 56 pounds of marijuana in their checked baggage and get away with it?
How many times has she done it and not got caught.
And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling Memphis International Airport police.
If you use those chicken-flavored bags, you could bring some.
What?
Dogs can't get the scent. Glad wrap.
Wouldn't it show up in the X-ray?
But listen to this. Memphis Airport police caught the woman after finding her luggage busted open on a United Airlines baggage cart. It was so jammed with pot it burst open, and it's just packed with 56 pounds of marijuana.
She would have gotten away with it.
Yeah, the woman's name tag was attached to the bags.
Damn.
Her name, address, phone number.
I'd grab a pound.
After locating the woman's luggage, she gave the airport police permission to search her bags. So I guess they searched additional, but 56 pounds of marijuana.
That's a lot.
That's 56 pounds. That's a lot. How long would that last you, Froggy?
A weekend. No, I mean, that'll last a couple of years.
Weekend at Froggy's.
I mean, a long week, like a holiday weekend.
9:45 at the MJ Morning Show. We got to run. Got a decent Monday show launching the week here. Folks, what are you laughing at?
I mean, that's what we shoot for is decent.
Yeah,
That's the barometer around it.
I thought it was a good show today.
Got through it.
All right, Cash Kitty's back in 15 minutes, 10 o'clock. We have the Cash Kitty at 8 o'clock. So the Cash Kitty's back at 10 o'clock. Heads up for the next keyword and your chance to text it in or enter it on the app or the website. Got a shot at $1,000 in 15 minutes from right now with the Cash Kitty. And then again at 12 noon, 3 and 5 p.m. later today here on Q105. Folks, have a great Monday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. And let's be careful out there.